If you like the story, you can support the author on Patreon. Link is in the description.
Chapter 41, Crafting Equipment Comparable to Tegu. Third Mizukage, upon receiving a detailed report from the Anbu ninja, knew that in the battle between Hoshigaki Kisame and Kakashi, Hoshigaki Kisame gained the upper hand due to the Kirijimanji's significant effect. However, relying solely on the chakra absorption technique and Kakashi's lightning release to exchange blows may not necessarily be advantageous. But there isn't as much discussion in the village about Kirijimanji. On one hand, the failure of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist has diminished the expectations of the people of the Hidden Mist village regarding the ninjato. This is somewhat influenced by the predecessors. However, the main reason is the control of the third Mizukage. The third Mizukage doesn't want too many people discussing Kirijimanji, thereby shifting their focus to Forging Island, to Uehara Soma. Because currently, the Hidden Mist village doesn't have enough resources to protect Uehara Soma. With the hope already present in the Hidden Mist village, the third Mizukage believes that, compared to the new ninjato, the new blacksmith bringing hope and inspiration to the Hidden Mist village, the safety of Uehara Soma will be more important. When the village has enough resources to protect Soma. At that time, Soma's information will be made public. Those people will know what the future of my Hidden Mist village is. What is the future of the ninja world? The next day. After breakfast, Uehara Soma, Biwajuzo, Hoshigaki Kisame, the 3 gathered in an empty forging room. Juzo-senpai, Kisame, are you ready? Ready. Ready. Immediately, Uehara Soma had a thought. Dungeon instance opening successful, teleporting, a very tall building, or rather, more like a laboratory. 2 towering iron doors gave a very heavy feeling. The surrounding walls were tightly guarded, tall, adorned with spikes, broken glass, and barbed wire. Very serious, oppressive. Summon thugs. 2 options appeared in front of Uehara Soma. Unlike last time, this time Uehara Soma chose 2 people at the same time. The maximum number of summoned assistants for the current dungeon instance has been reached. Once summoned, they cannot be changed. Are you sure you want to summon these 2 assistants? Uehara Soma raised an eyebrow slightly. This prompt appeared for the first time. So, this means that this materials instance can only summon 2 assistants? I received this prompt because I happened to summon 2 assistants. In the previous 2 materials instances, I only summoned 1 assistant, so I didn't reach the instance's capacity. But how should I interpret this limit? Uehara Soma first looked at the semi-transparent screen in front of him. Name, Uehara Soma, Comprehensive Strength, Chunin, Swordsmanship, Familiar, 1300, Forging Technique, Good, Excellent. A bonus from Forging Island, Mission Items, Thug Recruitment Token X2, Blacksmith Reputation, 696, Evaluation, as a blacksmith, the basics are decent. With a personal forging space, Forging Technique receives a bonus, with a chance to craft ninja tools of superior quality or above. As a ninja, the strength is worrying, in times of war, considered advanced cannon fodder. Still, among the previous information, Uehara Soma didn't find anything related to the restriction on the number of people in the instance. A blueprint appeared in Uehara Soma's hand. The blueprint of God's hand. In the corner of the blueprint, Uehara Soma saw a pattern. Within the pattern, there were 2 blank hexagrams. It's probably this. Uehara Soma contemplated. Knowing the capacity of the dungeon instance for summoned assistants, I can prepare better strategies. The limit on the number of participants often signifies the difficulty level. Plus, my understanding of the materials instance. The probability of clearing it will increase significantly. If another blacksmith from the Hidden Mist village were to obtain this blacksmith system, it definitely wouldn't have gone as smoothly for them. After all, those people don't have the information about the dungeon instances. Uehara Soma snapped out of his thoughts. Confirmed. Biwajuzo and Hoshigaki Kisame both felt a sudden attraction towards themselves. They exchanged a glance, not resisting at all. The next moment, their figures disappeared from the vacant forging room. When they reappeared, They were already by Uehara Soma's side. Uehara Soma noticed that the two blank hexagram patterns on the blueprint were now filled. This immediately confirmed Uehara Soma's earlier speculation. Is this the location for the mission? Biwajuzo and Hoshigaki Kisame looked towards the laboratory ahead. Upon seeing this building, both Biwajuzo and Hoshigaki Kisame couldn't help but feel a strong sense of familiarity. Because many places in the Hidden Mist Village exuded such an atmosphere. For example, the Academy. The Hidden Mist Village's Academy and Konoha's Academy are completely different in style. On one hand, they implement the policies of the Iron Blood, the brutal, and harsh Bloody Mist. While Konoha's Academy seems to focus more on joyful education in the early stages. A figure appeared. A young man, wearing black-framed glasses, with a serious expression, and deep purple hair. Near his left forehead, a strand turned white, making him look quite unique. The young man raised his head. Uehara Soma could clearly see the weariness in the young man's eyes. A voice echoed in Uehara Soma's mind. Instance mission, Dr. Stylish's ambition, mission reward, materials for God's hand, would you like to accept the mission? Accept. Immediately, a scene appeared before Uehara Soma and the other two. A young man in the laboratory kept trying, attempting, but each time ended in failure. Beside the young man, numerous discarded materials from failed attempts were piled up. Days passed by. The condition of the young man worsened. Even his mentality seemed to be affected. The young man's gaze became increasingly gloomy. Like someone whose psyche was affected by continuous failures, leading them towards a path of darkness. I want you to help the past me, to give me hope that I can successfully craft equipment comparable to Tegu. Okay. The figure of the young man disappeared. Click. A sound rang out, and a crack appeared in the laboratory door. The door unlocked. Uehara Soma pushed it open and entered. A young man sat at the lab bench. Hearing the sound, he instinctively looked up, but upon seeing Uehara Soma and the other two enter, he didn't show any surprise, his face numb with failure. Uehara Soma looked at the young man, pondering in his heart. Could it be that Dr. Stylish, because of repeated failures at this moment, turned dark and embarked on the path of an antagonist? Chapter 42, It's up to you, Soma. Soma, we probably can't help you much with this mission. If it were a battle, Biwajuzo would certainly be at the forefront. But this time it's a forging mission. This is a part that Biwajuzo is completely unfamiliar with. Uehara Soma nodded. Juzo-senpai, Kisame, please guard the entrance to prevent unrelated people from coming in and disturbing. Understood. Biwajuzo and Hoshigaki Kisame did not continue walking in, but stood guard at the entrance. Uehara Soma approached the experimental platform. On the nearby materials shelf, there were many biological and non-biological materials. Dr. Stylish remained in his failed state of withdrawal, as if he hadn't noticed Uehara Soma. After hesitating for a moment, Uehara Soma went to the materials shelf and began to select. Since Dr. Stylish's ambition is to create equipment comparable to Tegu, then, Uehara Soma forging here, demonstrating to Dr. Stylish, is the best choice. Dr. Stylish will definitely be attracted. And something can be learned from Uehara Soma's forging. Even without the bonus from Forging Island, Uehara Soma's forging technique, at best, is only of a good level, but Uehara Soma still has successful experience. Kirichimanji, Blue Rose Sword, both are works of Uehara Soma. Uehara Soma's skills and experience are definitely stronger than Dr. Stylish's current ones. Accompanied by the sound of metal striking. Finally, a glimmer appeared in Dr. Stylish's eyes. Dr. Stylish looked at Uehara Soma. What Uehara Soma is doing now is forging an imitation of the Blue Rose Sword. The materials are naturally not the same as those needed to forge the Blue Rose Sword. Uehara Soma just randomly selected some similar ones. Similar to the simulated forging done before the formal forging of the Blue Rose Sword. As Uehara Soma's forging progressed, Dr. Stylish's attention to Uehara Soma's actions became more focused. Dr. Stylish's eyes gradually lit up. Just at that moment, outside, there was suddenly the sound of footsteps. but it seemed to be not from the people in the laboratory. Some guards rushed out from the building beside the laboratory to confront the outsiders. A battle erupted instantly. Biwajuzo's expression became serious as he glanced back. Kisame, Soma probably needs some more time over there. It's up to us next. I'll take the front, you take the side. Biwajuzo made the battle assignment. Hoshigaki Kisame nodded. Yes, Juzo-senpai. Soon, the guards of the laboratory were defeated. Figures fell one after another, becoming lifeless bodies on the ground. The attackers rushed toward the laboratory. Biwajuzo concealed himself at the entrance, swiftly forming hand seals. Water release, exploding water colliding wave jutsu. A large amount of water appeared out of thin air, rushing towards the attackers, immediately engulfing all the attackers at the entrance. The attackers were startled. But soon they realized that Biwajuzo's attack was just intimidating with its volume of water. There wasn't much actual attacking power. Just as the attackers relaxed, Biwajuzo drew the blue rose sword. Bloom, blue rose. A surge of frosty power burst forth. In an instant, all the surrounding water froze, turning into ice blocks. The attackers, who previously didn't care about the water, were suddenly trapped in ice. This was a usage of the blue rose sword that Biwajuzo had researched. Directly creating ice with the blue rose sword would consume more chakra. But by first using water release, then using the blue rose sword to freeze the water created by water release, the chakra consumption would be much less, saving chakra, which meant enhanced combat capability for subsequent battles. So this is the ability of the blue rose sword. Freezing. It's powerful. The second ninjato forged by Soma is no less than the Hidden Mist 7 ninja swords. No, it's even stronger than the Hidden Mist 7 ninja swords. Otherwise, Juzo-senpai wouldn't have given up the Executioner's blade. It's somewhat similar to the Thunder swords. But freezing is something only a Kekkei Genkai can do. It's like having a Kekkei Genkai out of thin air. Hoshigaki Kisame withdrew his gaze and looked at his Kirichimanji. But Kirichimanji is also very good. It's not worse than the blue rose sword. And it's more suitable for me. An attacker bypassed Biwajuzo's attack range and headed towards the laboratory entrance. Hoshigaki Kisame didn't hesitate and immediately went to intercept. Water release, hiding in mist jutsu. A burst of water mist suddenly appeared. Hoshigaki Kisame took advantage of the water mist's cover to approach the attackers. Slash. A successful strike, then an immediate retreat. Blood flowed incessantly from the attacker's wounds. Hoshigaki Kisame circled around to the other side of the attacker. Slash. Another slash. With two wounds bleeding profusely, the attacker's condition deteriorated to the extreme. They tried to locate Hoshigaki Kisame, but the water mist obscured their vision, making it impossible to capture him. Water release, water prison jutsu. Facing the attacker who had lost their countermeasures, Hoshigaki Kisame trapped them with a water prison jutsu. Then, he thrust Kirichimanji into the vital area of the attacker. Withdraw. Bang. The attacker fell to the ground. Biwajuzo knocked down one attacker, but his brow furrowed nonetheless. Kisame, these attackers may not be individually strong, but their numbers are increasing, and they're wielding all sorts of strange weapons. We can't keep this up. Otherwise, once our chakra is nearly depleted, they'll wear us down. Hoshigaki Kisame nodded. Hoshigaki Kisame could use the chakra absorption technique, but against these people who have no chakra, it's useless. In a sense, these people are a restraint to Hoshigaki Kisame. Even a strong individual like the third Raikage would be killed under the swarm tactics of the Hidden Rock Village. We need to employ more efficient methods of killing. Biwajuzo glanced back and said, "We must buy enough time for Soma." Hoshigaki Kisame hesitated for a moment. Juzo-senpai, how about the two of us simultaneously use large-scale water release ninjutsu, and then you use the blue rose sword's ability to freeze the attackers. I'll engage in close combat, using Kirichimanji to attack them. With Kirichimanji's special ability. If it hits, even if I don't strike their vital points, as long as enough blood is shed, their condition will be greatly compromised, making it easier to kill them. Biwajuzo pondered for a moment. All right. At the next moment, both of them formed seals simultaneously. Water release, exploding water colliding wave jutsu. Water release, exploding water colliding wave jutsu. Not far away, a middle-aged man, watching the situation in the laboratory, had a dark expression on his face. Chapter 43, Sorry to keep you waiting for so long. Still haven't broken in? What's going on? So many people can't even handle some guards. They're all useless. Useless. A young man jogged up to the middle-aged one. Sir? The middle-aged man questioned. What's the situation? Sir, there have been several special guards appearing, with considerable strength, likely Tegu and Xingyu users. The young man quickly added, one has the ability to manipulate water, very much like a Tegu, perhaps the user of water dragon possession. Another can create freezing effects, resembling a user of demon's extract. And one wields a sword, the wounds inflicted cannot heal, akin to Kirichimanji. The middle-aged man interrupted the young man. Nonsense. The Tegu user of water dragon possession cannot be here. Do you know where demon's extract is? The owner of Kirichimanji is also a member of the Empire. Are you suspecting the Empire is targeting us? And the reason? Use your useless brain and think carefully. Don't make excuses for your incompetence. The middle-aged man snorted coldly. I will give you another 10 minutes. If it's still not resolved after 10 minutes, I'll order the entire area to be flattened. You should understand what that means for you. The young man's expression changed. Sir, please rest assured, we will definitely deal with them. Before he could finish, the young man had already rushed back towards the direction of the laboratory. Attack. Biwajuzo frowned. Their assault seems even more fierce, as if they have no regard for their lives. What are these people after? Even if what they want is inside, do they lack this little time? Hoshigaki Kisame withdrew Kirichimanji from an attacker's chest and formed seals. Water release, water mist jutsu. Replenishing the thinning water mist somewhat. But suddenly, Hoshigaki Kisame felt something was amiss. Subconsciously turning around, he saw a figure, somehow, had appeared behind him. It was the young man who had reported to the middle-aged man earlier. Upon hearing the middle-aged's words, the young man knew that no matter what method he used, he had to deal with Biwajuzo and Hoshigaki Kisame within 10 minutes. Even if it meant sacrificing his life. Because the unsuccessful outcome also meant death. After assessing that Biwajuzo's strength was greater than Hoshigaki Kisame's, the young man made a decision. He ordered his relatively weaker subordinates to surround Biwajuzo, while he led the elite subordinates to kill Hoshigaki Kisame. Once one of them was killed, breaking into the laboratory would become much easier. Bang! Faced with the young man's attack, Hoshigaki Kisame couldn't dodge and could only block. The tremendous force landed on Hoshigaki Kisame's arm, causing him to involuntarily retreat. However, behind Hoshigaki Kisame, another attacker's assault appeared. In an instant, Hoshigaki Kisame's situation became extremely critical, especially considering that the previous battles had already depleted a considerable amount of his chakra and stamina. Hoshigaki Kisame's condition was now much worse than before, and the number of opponents was too many. They fought recklessly, indifferent to life and death, exchanging blows for blows. Hoshigaki Kisame had won against Kakashi using this method of exchanging blows. And now, he was facing these people using the same strategy. Several wounds had already appeared on Hoshigaki Kisame's body, and several of the young man's elite subordinates had fallen. However, upon seeing Hoshigaki Kisame injured, the young man completely disregarded the deaths of his subordinates. Instead, his eyes lit up because he saw a glimmer of hope for victory. Come again, he's almost done. Kill him. The voice of the young man rang out. Under the young man's siege, Hoshigaki Kisame kept retreating, panting heavily. These guys are relentless. But I absolutely won't lose. If they want to kill me, it won't be that easy. Hoshigaki Kisame wouldn't collapse mentally just because he was injured or in a disadvantageous position. The Hoshigaki Kisame who emerged from the bloody mist faced increasingly dire situations, yet it only fueled his ferocity. As long as I'm here, don't even think about it. No one can disturb Soma. Facing Hoshigaki Kisame's sudden outburst, several attackers felt a sense of dread. The young man was taken aback. Who is this guy? How can mere guards be so strong? How can they be so ferocious? Hoshigaki Kisame's ferocity made the young man's scalp tingle. But if we don't deal with you, none of us will survive. I can't just stand by and watch my brothers die here because of today's events. That would be too unfair to them. The young man looked at Hoshigaki Kisame, gritted his teeth, and a resolute look flashed in his eyes. The next moment, the young man rushed towards Hoshigaki Kisame. Splurt! Kirichimanji and Hoshigaki Kisame's hand pierced into the young man's body. However, the young man didn't retreat, not even a pause, but continued to approach Hoshigaki Kisame, until the distance was close enough. Then, he firmly grabbed Hoshigaki Kisame's arm. Now's the time, kill! The young man's shout resounded. Hoshigaki Kisame showed a bewildered expression, completely unexpected that the young man would do such a thing. The attackers beside them widened their eyes sharply at the sight of the young man's actions. Squad Captain. No. I'm going to kill you. For Squad Captain's revenge. For Squad Captain's revenge. Originally, Hoshigaki Kisame had gained a respite for himself with his outburst. But the sudden move by the young man plunged Hoshigaki Kisame into an even more dangerous situation. The young man firmly held on to Hoshigaki Kisame, immobilizing him. At the cost of his own life, the young man restricted Hoshigaki Kisame. Simultaneously, it aroused the emotions of several nearby attackers. At this moment, they had no fear or panic. Only anger remained. Splurt! Bang! Hoshigaki Kisame struggled to dodge, continuously retreating. Seeing himself about to be forced into a corner. A true dead end. Hoshigaki Kisame felt like he had tripped over something, unable to maintain balance. His whole body involuntarily leaned backward, then fell heavily to the ground. The attackers surged forward. Damn it! I wonder how Soma's doing. I hope Juzo-senpai can hold on. I'm still not strong enough. Just as the attacker's assault was about to fall on Hoshigaki Kisame. Water release, water fang bullet jutsu. A series of spear-like formations condensed from water fiercely shot towards the attackers. Splurt! 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 Uehara Soma's figure appeared at the laboratory door, next to which lay the body of an attacker. Uehara Soma looked towards Hoshigaki Kisame and Biwajuzo. Juzo-senpai, Kisame, sorry to keep you waiting. Chapter 44, This country has already rotted. The bodies of several assailants, as well as a young man, lay beside Hoshigaki Kisame. Hoshigaki Kisame paused for a moment, then showed a look of surprise. Soma, are you okay over there? It's almost done. Uehara Soma's tasks have all been completed. And Uehara Soma also noticed that Dr. Stylish's expression had changed. It was no longer the previous confusion and helplessness, but there was a glimmer of hope in his eyes. In other words, as long as Dr. Stylish snapped out of it, Uehara Soma's mission in the dungeon instance would be completed. That's great. Hoshigaki Kisame got up from the ground. These people seem to be mad, completely indifferent to their own lives. Clearly, they have the numerical advantage and could win by wearing us down with time and numbers. Hoshigaki Kisame couldn't understand their behavior at all. It's as if they deliberately came to stop us from completing the mission. Uehara Soma shook his head. They couldn't possibly know about our mission. It's likely just the pressure from their superiors forcing them to act like this. The world of Akame Gakil, Uehara Soma would understand it better than Hoshigaki Kisame. This is a country that can be described as completely rotten. Those in power basically do not consider the lives of those below them as lives. If that's really the case, then they're pitiful. Hoshigaki Kisame glanced at the body of the young man on the ground. Among them, there are a few guys who are not bad. The young man had just sacrificed his own life to restrict Hoshigaki Kisame's movements, putting him in danger, but also earning Hoshigaki Kisame's respect. Hoshigaki Kisame felt that the young man was a worthy opponent. But Soma, why is your water release ninjutsu so powerful now? Uehara Soma smiled. After Juzo-senpai came to Forging Island, He gave me some combat training. It seems that I have some talent in water release, and I've made some progress. Hoshigaki Kisame nodded. Soma, you really need to improve your combat strength. If other ninja villages find out about your information, they will definitely send a ninja to target you. Your situation will become very dangerous. Not far away, the middle-aged man's face grew even darker, especially after he took out the binoculars and saw the young man's death. They're all useless. Not a single one of them is useful. Fire! Fire! In his anger, the middle-aged man, disregarding everything, directly ordered the firing, even though there were many of his own people below, and only 3 on the other side. The man in charge of the cannon hesitated. Sir, but there are still many of our people below. The middle-aged man stared coldly at the man. I said fire, don't you understand? Or are you going to defy my orders? Speaking, the middle-aged man had already placed his hand on the hilt on his waist. Faced with the middle-aged man's gaze, the man became frightened, lowered his head, and quickly waved the flag in his hand. Yes, sir. One shell after another was loaded, and the fuses were lit. The next moment, boom, boom, boom. One cannonball after another roared towards the direction of the laboratory entrance. Biwajuzo lifted his head, showing a serious expression. Even though he hadn't seen what it was, Biwajuzo could feel the threat of this thing. Its power was definitely not weak. Hoshigaki Kisame felt the same. Uehara Soma's expression became even more solemn. Because Uehara Soma knew what it was. Not even sparing their own people, are they going to kill us altogether? Is this the world of Akame ga Kill? Indeed, it's a world beyond salvation. At that moment, inside the laboratory, Dr. Stylish snapped out of his daze, his eyes shining brightly with excitement as he couldn't help but dance around. I got it. At the same time, a voice echoed in Uehara Soma's mind. Congratulations, host, on completing the mission. Would you like to leave the dungeon instance? Yes. Originally, faced with incoming cannonballs, Uehara Soma, preparing to use water release to block them for a moment, took advantage of this time to escape. Upon hearing the voice in his mind, he couldn't help but show a hint of joy. The middle-aged man's eyes widened greatly. Because just as the cannonballs were about to fall, the middle-aged man saw through the binoculars that Uehara Soma, Biwajuzo, and Hoshigaki Kisame had all disappeared in a very eerie way. Vanished into thin air. Could it really be the power of Tegu? Tegu with spatial abilities? Dimensional formation? But how could it be in the hands of these people? Uehara Soma and his companions disappeared. The middle-aged man ordered the cannonballs to be fired, all of which fell on the middle-aged man's own people. A chorus of wails arose. The middle-aged man remained indifferent, showing no concern. Back at Forging Island, Uehara Soma collected the materials for God's hand that appeared in front of him. Juzo-senpai, Kisame, thank you for your hard work. Biwajuzo shook his head and asked, Soma, when do you plan to start forging this ninja tool? I'll start preparing tomorrow, and once everything's ready, we'll proceed, Uehara Soma replied. Biwajuzo nodded. Before you officially start forging, let's not train for a few days, otherwise, my condition might be affected and I won't be able to fully utilize my strength. The incident with Kaguya Hikari last time made Biwajuzo very worried that Uehara Soma's forging would be disrupted. Acquiring the materials was not easy at all. If Uehara Soma's forging failed due to interference, Biwajuzo would feel it was his own negligence and couldn't forgive himself. Alright, Juzo-senpai. Hoshigaki Kisame left Forging Island and returned to Hoshigaki Island. After completing the mission and reporting to the 3rd Mizukage, Hoshigaki Kisame immediately came to Forging Island to assist Uehara Soma in acquiring materials, without even going home first. Neither of them paid any attention to what happened in the dungeon instance. Even though it was really dangerous inside. They were almost killed. But whether it was Biwajuzo or Hoshigaki Kisame, they had experienced countless such incidents. Uehara Soma, like before, was preparing. He took out the blueprints, conducted research first, then deduced in his mind. Once the deduction was completed, He simulated the forging with similar materials. Arafune was very excited to assist Uehara Soma in forging. 3 days later. Juzo-senpai, I'm going to start the formal forging now, Uehara Soma said, carrying the materials into the forging room. Okay. Biwa Juzo held the blue rose sword, guarding the door of the forging room, completely focused and alert, like a statue standing guard at the entrance. Chapter 45, Oh Spoils. Uehara Soma looked at the materials in front of him, feeling a bit nervous. Because of God's hand, and Kirichimanji, blue rose sword, they were completely different styles of ninja tools. This is a pair of glove-type Teigyu. The size is relatively small. The structure is relatively complex. Because it needs to fit the fingers completely, the requirement for precision is very high. Normally, this should not belong to the work of a blacksmith. It is more inclined to be the work of a tailor. But fortunately, the forging techniques on Forging Island are not so narrow. Among the hidden mist 7 ninja swords, there also exists the likes of longsword sewing needle. Uehara Soma is also skilled in fine operations. Begin. Following the blueprint, Uehara Soma proceeded step by step. At first, there was some tension. But once the forging began, Uehara Soma's mind quickly calmed down. In fact, when engaged in activities requiring skill and concentration, it's easy for one to become calm. Biwa Juzo leaned against the wall near the blacksmith's door. His posture seemed somewhat casual. However, this is actually Biwa Juzo's full defensive posture. In case of any unexpected events, he can react immediately. Arafune looked towards the forging room with anticipation in his eyes. During this period, I have assisted Chief Uehara in preparing for forging, and I have gained a lot. I can feel that soon, my forging technique will be improved. At that time, I will seriously consider what kind of work I want to forge. Arafune has also heard about Hoshigaki Kisame's performance wielding Kirichimanji on the battlefield. In this regard, Arafune is very envious. For a blacksmith, there is nothing more gratifying than having one's own work recognized by others. Defeating Konoha's genius ninja, Kakashi. That's really impressive. In an instant, he has become famous throughout the entire ninja world. However, we also need to find a suitable user. Arafune began to fantasize about what name to give his completed work, how to choose the user of the ninjato, and what kind of ninja it could defeat. Just then, a figure entered the Mizukage's building at a very fast pace. Mizukage-sama. What is it? Third Mizukage closed the document in his hand and looked at the entering Anbu ninja. Mizukage-sama, there are 2 pieces of news, one good and one bad. Start with the good one. Third Mizukage didn't change his expression much, just raised his chin slightly. The Anbu ninja said, the ambush plan prepared by Osamu against the Hyuga main family ninja was successful. They obtained a Byakugan from the Hyuga family and have already brought it back to the village. Immediately, Third Mizukage couldn't help but stand up, and his face showed an expression change. Good. Third Mizukage was very pleased. Because the Byakugan is incredibly useful on the battlefield. Long-range viewing, perspective, and all-around surveillance. What does this mean? It means that as long as there is a Byakugan, traps and ambushes set by other ninja villages against Konoha will be meaningless, as the Byakugan can easily see through them with just a glance. But traps and ambushes prepared by Konoha ninja are effective against ninja from other villages. In addition, the Byakugan also has a restraining effect on many ninjutsu. For example, genjutsu. For example, the hidden mist villages hiding in mist jutsu. Many people feel that the reason Konoha has been able to engage in multi-front battles and has not fallen into a significant disadvantage when facing various ninja villages, achieving decent results, is largely due to the existence of the Byakugan. As long as there is the Byakugan, in terms of intelligence, Konoha is definitely the one with the advantage. And intelligence is extremely important for ninja warfare. Apart from Konoha, every other ninja village desires to obtain a Byakugan. However, due to the existence of the caged bird seal cursed seal, Konoha's protection or control over members of the Hyuga main family, it has been impossible for any other ninja village to succeed until now. But now, Ao has achieved it. Where is Ao? I want to personally commend him. By bringing back the Byakugan, Ao has greatly contributed to our Hidden Mist Village. Third Mizukage has already begun to envision how Hidden Mist Village can utilize the Byakugan. The Anbu ninja said, Mizukage-sama, this is the second piece of news. Ao-sama's plan was successful, but on Konoha's side, especially among the Hyuga, they are extremely concerned about the Byakugan. When they realize that the Byakugan has been lost, they become frantic. Ao-sama's team has been almost completely wiped out. Only Ao-sama himself survived. But he is also seriously injured. He has already been sent to the medical department. But the medical ninjas in the medical department said that Ao-sama's injuries are too severe. While they can use medical ninjutsu, they cannot perform the delicate stitching required for some of the wounds. The joyful expression on Third Mizukage's face instantly faded. To what extent are Aoi's injuries if even the medical ninjas can't perform the stitching? The Anbu ninja lowered their head. The medical ninjas said that it's a miracle Ao-sama managed to return to Hidden Mist Village alive. I'll go see him myself. As soon as Third Mizukage finished speaking, his figure flashed, and he appeared again, already downstairs at the Mizukage's building. With the fastest speed, Third Mizukage headed towards the medical department. Mizukage-sama. Where is Ao? What's the situation? A medical ninja who appeared to be somewhat older stepped forward, sighing. Mizukage-sama, Ao's condition is very bad. His internal injuries are severe, requiring extremely precise stitching to repair. But we are not skilled enough to perform such procedures. Right now, we are only using medical ninjutsu to sustain Ao's life. If Kushimaru or Uehara was still alive, perhaps he could have performed this surgery. For now, all we can do is provide conservative treatment for Ao and observe his personal will. If he can hold on, there's a possibility he may survive. But if he can't, then death is the only outcome. Even if he survives, there will be serious long-term consequences. Third Mizukage furrowed his brow. Kushimaru or Uehara is already dead. A deceased person certainly cannot rise to perform surgery on Ao. Take me to see Ao? Yes, Mizukage-sama. Ao lay on the sick bed, various tubes and bandages covering his body almost entirely. His breath was extremely weak, as if he could stop breathing at any moment. Precise surgical skills. Third Mizukage suddenly realized something, a thought stirring in his mind. Chapter 46, Third Mizukage's Request. Besides the medical department, forging also seems to require highly precise operational skills. Kushimaru Uehara, due to his proficiency in using the longsword sewing needle, possesses excellent precision operational skills. So, what about the great blacksmith who forged the longsword sewing needle back then? The precision operational skills of that great blacksmith who can forge such shinobi tools must be exceptional. And Uehara Soma's forging technique is probably not inferior to that great blacksmith. Kirichimanji, Blue Rose Sword, they are both extremely powerful ninjato. The possibility of Uehara Soma possessing precision operational skills to the extent of stitching Ao's wounds is very high. Forging Island. Uehara Soma carefully sews the last line on the glove. Congratulations to the host for completing the forging. Successful forging of God's hand, completion level, excellent. Congratulations to the host for obtaining body modification technique experience X2000. Upon hearing the prompt, Uehara Soma's expression turned puzzled. 2000 experience directly for an excellent level completion. But, it's for the body modification technique? Is it because Dr. Stylish excels in the body modification technique, so this reward is given to me? This is a bit underwhelming for me. Uehara Soma expressed slight disappointment. Even though he directly gained 2000 experience. Because Uehara Soma felt that, considering his situation, the probability of using this technique was not high. Compared to this, Uehara Soma would prefer improvements in combat or in forging technique. A burst of information flooded Uehara Soma's mind. God's hand, type, gloves, quality, excellent, abilities, operational enhancement, an excellent level replica that can increase the user's precision operational skills tenfold. Note, According to the third principle of forges, this glove cannot harm the wielder, tenfold. Put it on and give it a try. Uehara Soma put on the god's hand, looked at the forging table, took out the materials, and picked up the tools. As soon as he started, Uehara Soma could feel it. This was a completely different sensation from previous operations. Uehara Soma's eyes lit up. My precision operational skills have improved a lot. As a result, it also brings improvement to my forging technique. Uehara Soma looked at the semi-transparent panel in front of him. Name, Uehara Soma, Comprehensive Strength, Chunin, Swordsmanship, Familiar, 1300, Body Modification Technique, Familiar, 2000, Forging Technique, Good, Proficient, Forging Island Bonus, God's Hand Bonus, Task Items, Thug Recruitment Token X2, Blacksmith Reputation, 696, Evaluation, as a blacksmith, the foundation is decent. With his own forging site, forging equipment, and the bonuses from forging technique, there is a chance to forge shinobi tools of superior quality. As a ninja, the strength is worrisome in war, can only be considered as high-level cannon fodder. To think that my forging technique was directly elevated by one level. Not bad, not bad. Compared to excellent level, proficient level is another level. This means that my future forging will be smoother. The possibility of failure is smaller. To be honest, Uehara Soma was somewhat disappointed with the God's Hand blueprint before. Because Uehara Soma couldn't think of a suitable contracting party. The only one that Uehara Soma felt could fit wasn't from the Hidden Mist village. It would take many years until Orochimaru defected from Konoha. Even if Orochimaru defected from Konoha, it wouldn't necessarily lead to a good relationship with the Hidden Mist village. But now, even if God's Hand never formed a contract in his lifetime, Uehara Soma felt that crafting this shinobi tool was worth it. In that case, I actually don't need to force God's Hand into a contract. Unless I obtain something better, more suitable as a replacement. A contract can get a one-time reward. If I were to receive a reward from Orochimaru, it would certainly not be lacking. However, the improvement in forging technique is more important to Uehara Soma. Uehara Soma simply tidied up the more important things on the forging table. Then he opened the door. Biwajuzo made room. When he saw that Uehara Soma didn't have a ninjato in his hand, his pupils contracted slightly. Then, he patted Uehara Soma's shoulder. Soma, it's okay. Failure is a very normal thing. Forging, such things, even that great blacksmith from back then often failed. Failure can also gain experience. And Soma, your previous 2 attempts at forging ninjato were successful, which is already remarkable. Next time, just keep going. But never doubt yourself just because of one failure. Soma, your forging technique is definitely not a problem. Biwajuzo said a lot to comfort Uehara Soma. This left Uehara Soma feeling a bit amused and bemused. But just as Uehara Soma was about to explain, a figure swiftly approached from afar. Biwajuzo instinctively became alert. However, he quickly recognized the newcomer and relaxed. Mizukage-sama. Juzo, Soma. The third Mizukage's figure halted in front of Uehara Soma and Biwajuzo. Soma, your precision operational skills must be excellent, right? Uehara Soma didn't understand why the third Mizukage asked this, but as a blacksmith, this aspect must certainly be top-notch. Uehara Soma nodded. There might be something that needs your assistance. The third Mizukage quickly added, Ao has suffered serious injuries, with many wounds needing stitching, some of which are internal and beyond the capabilities of the medical ninjas in the medical department. Their precision operational skills are not sufficient. Those medical ninjas said that if Kashimaru Koryare were still alive, with his abilities, he could perform this surgery. But Kashimaru Koryare is already deceased. Soma, you can forge the Kirichimanji and Blue Rose sword. Your mastery of forging technique must be outstanding, and your precision operational skills are certainly not lacking. Would you be willing to give it a try? Uehara Soma processed the information provided by the third Mizukage. He had some knowledge of Ao. As a Jonin from the Hidden Mist village, during Trumime's era, he held a high position in the village. Otherwise, he wouldn't have qualified to accompany Trumime to the Five-Cage Summit as her guard. Moreover, he is the only ninja in the entire shinobi world, apart from the Hyuga, who possesses the Byakugan. During the Five-Cage Summit, he saw through Danzo's use of Kotomatsu Kami Genjutsu on Mifune. At the same time, he was also the one who saw through Uchiha Obito's Genjutsu on Yura. In the history of the future Hidden Mist Village, he plays a very important role. Ms. Yukige-sama, I don't know the specifics right now, but I am willing to try. However, I cannot guarantee that my abilities are sufficient, nor can I guarantee that the surgery will definitely succeed. The third Ms. Yukige smiled. Of course. Even if it fails, it won't be your fault, Soma. We can only blame the ninjas of Konoha. Chapter 47, The Magic of God's Hand. Previously, Uehara Soma might have refused outright. Are you kidding? A surgery that even a medical ninja can't perform, and they want a blacksmith like me to do it? Even if the third Ms. Yukige says the surgery fails, it's not my concern. But what about Ao's family? What about Ao's friends? What will these people think? Uehara Soma doesn't expect much from many people in the Hidden Mist Village. The entire family of the Kaguya clan is almost mentally unstable. Many ninjas immersed in the bloody mist. Once a radical appears among Ao's surroundings, it's very likely that the reason for the surgery's failure will be attributed to Uehara Soma, causing trouble for him. In addition, Uehara Soma remembers that in the original storyline, Ao was doing just fine until the Fourth Great Ninja War. It proves that he got through that crisis. But now, the situation is different. Uehara Soma has acquired God's Hand. And he also gained 2,000 points of body modification technique experience, reaching the familiar level. In other words, now Uehara Soma can also be considered a medical ninja. He just doesn't know medical ninjutsu, only surgery. But with these conditions, Uehara Soma is quite confident in completing Ao's surgery. In this situation, Uehara Soma accepted the invite. On one hand, he can earn Ao's gratitude. As a Jonin of the Hidden Mist Village, and a Jonin with the Byakugan at that, Uehara Soma feels that Ao is a very valuable ninja. Furthermore, in the original storyline, Ao can become one of Trumime's guardians, which also indicates something. It indicates that under the future turmoil of the Hidden Mist Village, Ao made the right choice. The second aspect is that this is a request from the third Ms. Yukige himself. No matter how the third Ms. Yukige performs in the position of Ms. Yukige, no matter how much the third Ms. Yukige is currently affected by Uchiha Madara's genjutsu, the third Ms. Yukige is still the Ms. Yukige of the Hidden Mist Village. Shall we go to the medical department now? Okay. Biwajuzo also followed along. Previously, Biwajuzo was under the third Ms. Yukige's orders to protect Uehara Soma. But now, Biwajuzo has begun to see Uehara Soma as more important. Because a Ms. Yukige is only temporary. But a ninja sword is forever. The three of them quickly arrived at the medical department. They went straight to the ward where Ao was. An elderly woman glanced over. The third Ms. Yukige introduced, "This is Mayuko Ringo, the highest-ranking medical ninja in the medical department, proficient in medical ninjutsu. And this is Uehara Soma, the head of the forging department, the highest-ranking blacksmith in our village." Uehara Soma glanced at the elderly woman in front of him, feeling a slight stir in his heart. He hadn't seen this person before. But the name Ringo left an impression on Uehara Soma. In the original storyline, after Kurisuke Reiga's death, the Thunder Swords circulated and eventually returned to the hands of the Hidden Mist Village. Later, they were inherited by a young female ninja. The female ninja's name is Mayuri Ringo. According to the information released by the Hidden Mist Village, Mayuri Ringo's talent surpassed Kurisuke Reiga's, and the Thunder Swords were even more powerful in her hands. Unfortunately, her health was poor. She passed away at a young age. By the time of the Fourth Great Ninja War, she could only appear as an impure world reincarnation. Mayuko-senpai. Uehara Soma said, "Ms. Yukige-sama, I'm not very clear about the details of the surgery request. How about I first practice on a test subject and let Mayuko-senpai take a look? If Mayuko-senpai thinks it's okay, then I'll proceed with the surgery on Ao-senpai. The third Mizukage nodded. This is better. Then he looked at Mayuko Ringo. Mayuko, go prepare. Yes, Mizukage-sama. Mayuko Ringo turned and left. Soon, she returned. Such test subjects were not uncommon in the Hidden Mist Village's medical department. Medical ninjas need them for learning. A snow-white rabbit was brought in. It's not a native creature of the Hidden Mist Village, but because it's suitable for experimentation, it was brought here. Now it's one of the mainstay creatures of the Hidden Mist Village. Because there are too many of them, they're even served on the dining table. Just relying on the laboratory isn't enough to consume them. To control their numbers, wildcats were introduced to hunt them. Mayuko Ringo placed the rabbit on the adjacent test platform. Uehara Soma stepped forward. The rabbit already has many wounds, its life force is weak, relying solely on medical ninjas to sustain it. However, without surgery, it will soon perish. Uehara Soma took out God's hand and put it on. Mayuko Ringo was puzzled for a moment. Gloves? Typically, medical ninjas wear gloves during surgery. But those are thin, meant to prevent infection. The God's hand that Uehara Soma brought out was noticeably heavier. Uehara Soma explained, wearing these gloves will enhance my surgical abilities to some extent. Mayuko Ringo nodded, didn't say anything more, seemingly accepting Uehara Soma's explanation. Uehara Soma looked at the rabbit in front of him, his expression becoming serious. Then, he extended his hands. The moment he touched the rabbit, Uehara Soma suddenly felt a surge of a familiar sensation that didn't belong to him. It's as if instinctively, he just knew how to handle it. So this is the influence brought by the familiar level body modification technique, Uehara Soma thought. Uehara Soma took the needle and thread and began suturing the rabbit's wounds. How is it, Mayuko? The third Mizukage, Mayuko Ringo, and Biwajuzo stood nearby. Their conversation was hushed, afraid of disturbing Uehara Soma. Very steady, Mayuko Ringo replied. This kid's hands are very steady, as if born to perform surgery. As soon as Mayuko Ringo saw Uehara Soma's actions, she showed admiration in her eyes. Mayuko Ringo felt that such steady hands, such great talent, not being used as a medical ninja, not being responsible for surgeries in the medical department, would be a waste. But then, Mayuko Ringo remembered what the third Mizukage had said about Uehara Soma's identity. Mizukage-sama, is this kid's forging technique really that strong? The third Mizukage raised an eyebrow slightly. Mayuko, what are you trying to say? Mizukage-sama, this kid's hands are truly suited for surgery. If we could have him join the medical department and specialize in performing surgeries, he could save many lives that couldn't be saved otherwise. So, Soma's demonstrated ability is sufficient to handle our surgery? Absolutely. That's good to hear. The third Mizukage smiled. But then he added, however, it's unlikely for Soma to join the medical department and specialize in learning a medical ninjutsu. Chapter 48, Danzo, it's all your fault, Hyuga. Hearing the words of the third Mizukage, Biwajuzo breathed a sigh of relief. Mayuko Ringo had similar thoughts, and Biwajuzo had them too. When he saw Uehara Soma's water release talent, Biwajuzo had such feelings. However, both Kirichimanji and the Blue Rose Sword made Biwajuzo realize that, regardless of Uehara Soma's talents, being a blacksmith is the most suitable profession for him. Even if it's extra time, there's no need to learn any medical ninjutsu or surgery. Learning water release, improving strength, is much better. Uehara Soma's safety is much more important than the safety of other ninjas in the Hidden Mist Village. Mayuko Ringo paused for a moment, then seemed to remember something. Mizukage-sama, is this child the blacksmith who forged the new ninjata comparable to the Hidden Mist 7 ninja swords? Yes. The third Mizukage nodded. Just then. I'm done. Hearing the voice, Mayuko Ringo stepped forward. Mayuko-senpai, how is it? Very good, very perfect. Mayuko Ringo turned to the third Mizukage and said, Ms. Yukige-sama, Soma's fine operational skills are even better than what I requested. There shouldn't be any problems with the surgery. The third Ms. Yukige smiled. Good, then go ahead and arrange the surgery. Yes. Uehara Soma interjected. Ms. Yukige-sama, Mayuko-senpai, if we're going to perform the surgery, could we arrange the location on Forging Island? I'll feel more confident in a familiar environment. The third Ms. Yukige had no objections and looked to Mayuko Ringo. Mayuko? It's fine, I'm okay with anywhere. Time was tight. The next day, Ao had already been transferred to Forging Island. Mayuko Ringo, like the outsiders who had come to Forging Island before, felt a sense of desolation in its current emptiness. However, when the gaze falls on Uehara Soma, one would feel that with him around, Forging Island will inevitably regain its former glory, perhaps even stronger. Ao's body lay peacefully on the operating table. Uehara Soma is on the left. Mayuko Ringo is on the right. A white eye is embedded in Ao's eye socket. However, it's evident that the eye transplant wasn't done very well, as there are signs of decay around the eye socket. The movement seemed to stare Ao awake. Opening his eyes, he first glanced at Mayuko Ringo, then at Uehara Soma, and faintly spoke. If I die, please give the white eye to someone more suitable in the village. At that moment, Uehara Soma's scalpel pierced into Ao's wound. Ao's eyes rolled back, and he passed out. Mayuko Ringo used medical ninjutsu to sustain Ao's life, guiding Uehara Soma through the surgery. Outside, Biwajuzo stood guard at the door. Third Ms. Yukige is not here. He has returned to the Ms. Yukige's building. As the Ms. Yukige, third Ms. Yukige has a heavy workload and doesn't have enough time to stay by the side. While Hidden Mist Village was trying to save Ao from his severe injuries, on the other hand, Konoha also got embroiled in significant commotion because of this incident. Hokage-sama, we're sorry, it's all our fault. An elder from the Hyuga clan arrived at the Hokage building. Sarutobi Hiruzen's expression turned grim. Beside him, Shimura Danzo snorted. You Hyuga clan know how important the Byakugan is to Konoha. For so many years, Konoha has never experienced the loss of a Byakugan. This time, you have made a grave mistake. Konoha lost a pair of Byakugan. Hidden Mist Village gained an extra Byakugan. It's very likely that Hidden Mist Village can seize the initiative on the battlefield with this Byakugan. Previously, Hidden Mist Village gained momentum with the victory of the younger generation of ninjas and the sudden appearance of a new ninja tool. Now, the Hyuga clan joins in. Once Konoha falls into a disadvantage on the battlefield against Hidden Mist Village, Hidden Cloud Village and Hidden Rock Village may take advantage of this opportunity to launch even fiercer attacks on Konoha. Can your Hyuga clan bear this responsibility? The Hyuga elder lowered his head even further. I'm sorry, Danzo-sama, it's indeed a Hyuga clan's failure. If Hyuga Taki still lived, I would surely punish him severely. Danzo interrupted the Hyuga elder. Do you think that just because Hyuga Taki is dead, you can escape responsibility for this matter? Hyuga Taki's death means your entire Hyuga clan must take responsibility for this. This matter must be dealt with. Not a single Byakugan should remain outside of Konoha. The Hyuga elder looked troubled. Hokage-sama, Danzo-sama, but the Byakugan has already been taken away by the people of Hidden Mist Village and brought back there. There's nothing our Hyuga clan can do. It's too difficult for our Hyuga clan's ninjas to infiltrate Hidden Mist Village and retrieve the Byakugan. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked up, gazing at the Hyuga elder, and slowly spoke. It's not that complicated. I've heard that your Hyuga clan has had a long-standing relationship with the Kaguya clan of Hidden Mist Village. Perhaps through the channels of the Kaguya clan, we can find out more about the situation with that Byakugan. Well, the Hyuga elder's expression grew even more troubled. Indeed, the Hyuga clan and the Kaguya clan had a long history of friendship. But the Hyuga clan resided in Konoha. The Kaguya clan was a ninja family of Hidden Mist Village. Currently, Konoha and Hidden Mist Village are in a state of war. In this situation, for the Hyuga clan to task the Kaguya clan with gathering intelligence on that Byakugan, how is it different from asking the Kaguya clan to betray Hidden Mist Village? Will the Kaguya clan agree? Knowing full well that the Kaguya clan will not agree to forcibly make such a demand of them, wouldn't it create a rift between the two ninja clans? So, there are only two outcomes facing the Hyuga clan. One is to forcibly persuade the Kaguya clan to betray Hidden Mist Village. The other is to sever ties with the Kaguya clan. Is there a problem? Sarutobi Hiruzen asked. The Hyuga elder glanced at Sarutobi Hiruzen, whose expression was relatively mild, then at Shimura Danzo, whose gaze was incredibly dark, and ultimately said nothing. The Hyuga elder lowered his head. Hokage-sama, there is no problem. I will endeavor to arrange it. Not just effort, but certainty. Danzo's voice rang out. Yes, Danzo-sama. The Hyuga elder left and returned to the Hyuga clan's headquarters. In the Hokage's office, only two remained. Sarutobi Hiruzen sighed. Danzo, you shouldn't have pressured the Hyuga clan like that. Losing the Byakugan is not something they wanted to see happen. They must be feeling guilty and regretful as well. Danzo's face briefly showed surprise, but quickly concealed it. Chapter 49, Clash of Ideals. Hiruzen, this is also unavoidable. The situation on the battlefield is not optimistic for us. The variables brought by Byakugan are too great. We must do this. Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded. The current situation in the village is indeed not good. On the Hidden Cloud Village side, over the years, they have silently accumulated strong power. In terms of core ninja strength, they have surpassed many in our Konoha. Fortunately, they are also engaged in conflicts with the Hidden Rock Village. Among the young ninjas, the son of the third Raikage and the Jinchuriki of the Eight Tails are quite formidable. But Minato surpasses them all. The Hidden Rock Village has more core ninjas than the Hidden Cloud Village, but among the young ninjas, there doesn't seem to be any particularly outstanding individuals. It's just a matter of quantity. Furthermore, the Hidden Sand Village can help us resist some pressure from the Hidden Rock Village. That one named Sasori, I hear he's not bad. Danzo seemed to have a low opinion of Sasori, he said. Sasori of the Red Sand's parents were killed by Hatache, so Sasori of the Red Sand is only a few years older than Kakashi. When Kakashi grows up, he will likely surpass him. Mentioning Kakashi, Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't help but think of Kakashi being defeated by Hoshigaki Kisame. On the Hidden Mist Village side, both the young and core ninjas are not performing well. They've resorted to relying on battles with the younger generation to boost morale. But unfortunately, the only opponent for the Hidden Mist Village is us, Konoha. So for us, Konoha, it has become a more significant problem. Danzo asked, Hiruzen, have the Anbu ninja investigated the situation with the new ninjato? Sarutobi Hiruzen shook his head. Not yet. Danzo proposed his idea. Hiruzen, perhaps we can use this opportunity to have the Hyuga clan gather information from the Kaguya clan about the new ninjato. As members of the Hidden Mist Village, the Kaguya clan would surely know this. Sarutobi Hiruzen hesitated. The matter regarding the Byakugan could still be somewhat justified. After all, the Byakugan should not be left unattended, not just according to Konoha's perspective, but also the Hyuga clan's. But if they were to obtain information from the Kaguya clan through the Hyuga clan regarding the new ninjato, it wouldn't sit well. Pressuring the Hyuga clan too heavily could likely backfire. Even though the Hyuga clan is currently showing considerable compliance, more than the neighboring Uehara clan, Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't want to tarnish his reputation. Let it go. Let it go? But Danzo wanted to say something else but was interrupted by Sarutobi Hiruzen. Danzo, I have already made my decision about this matter. But that's enough. I am the Hokage. Danzo. Sarutobi Hiruzen glanced at Danzo and continued speaking. The request to the Hyuga clan is too demanding. Let's conduct the investigation through other channels. I heard thunder swords have appeared on the battlefield again? Yes, the one using thunder swords is named Kaguya Hikari. How does he compare to Kurisuke Reiga? He doesn't have the same level of mastery over thunder swords as Kurisuke Reiga, but he is more ferocious and crazed. Most people from the Kaguya clan have such personalities. Then let's find a way to gather information about the new ninjato from this Kaguya Hikari. Agreed. Danzo left the Hokage building. When he reached the end of the road, he glanced back. Hiruzen, you're too indecisive. In Danzo's view, his idea was perfectly fine. First, pressure the Hyuga clan to gather information about the Byakugan from the Kaguya clan. At this point, there would be two possible outcomes. One possibility is that the Kaguya clan provides information about the Byakugan. The other possibility is that the Kaguya clan and the Hyuga clan break ties. Both of these outcomes are acceptable for Konoha. In the former case, Konoha might retrieve or destroy the Byakugan. In the latter case, severing the connection between the Hyuga clan and the Kaguya clan means cutting off a potential retreat route for the Hyuga clan, making them more loyal to Konoha. In the former scenario, pressuring the Hyuga clan again to obtain information about the new ninjato from the Kaguya clan could yield two outcomes. One is that the Kaguya clan refuses. In this case, the Hyuga clan and the Kaguya clan would still break ties. At the same time, Konoha could also reveal that the Kaguya clan provided information about the Byakugan to Konoha, creating discord between the Hidden Mist Village and the Kaguya clan. The other possibility is that the Kaguya clan agrees. This would be the best outcome for Konoha in terms of obtaining information. The entire plan, one could say, regardless of the outcome, is beneficial for Konoha. It's just that they may have to deal with the possibility of backlash from the Hyuga clan. But, would the Hyuga clan dare? Danzo doesn't think so. With the caged bird seal restraining the branch family, Danzo sees the entire Hyuga clan as deeply submissive, absolutely unwilling to confront the village. You will regret this. Back at the Hyuga headquarters, Hyuga Kazuo immediately called for a clan meeting. He recounted the words of Sarutobi Hiruzen and Shimura Danzo. Immediately, some members of the Hyuga clan expressed dissatisfaction. What do Danzo and Hokage Sama mean? Are they suggesting that we intentionally lost the Byakugan? He's going too far with these words. What do they take us, the Hyuga clan, for? However, when Hyuga Kazuo posed a question, "Do any of you have any good ideas?" everyone fell silent. Hyuga Kazuo sighed inwardly. Then he looked towards a figure. "Hisashi, I'll have you go to the Hidden Mist Village. Have a discussion with the Kaguya clan. If they agree, that's good. If not, don't force it." Hyuga Hisashi nodded. "Yes, clan head. Hurry back." Mayuko Rinko watched Uehara Soma's surgery. The more she watched, the more admiration filled her eyes. Such skilled hands, it's a shame not to perform surgery. But alas, he's a blacksmith. At first, Uehara Soma was slow, but gradually he got into the rhythm. With the boost from the familiar level body modification technique, such surgery seemed effortless for him. And there's also the assistance of God's hand. Uehara Soma's movements became faster and faster. One wound after another, all stitched up by Uehara Soma. Soon, it was time for the eye area. For non-Uchiha clan members, transplanting a Sharingan will have certain side effects. For non-Hyuga clan members, transplanting the Byakugan will also have certain side effects. But what if I use the body modification technique? Chapter 50, Body Modification. After stitching up numerous wounds on Ao's body, Uehara Soma's gained a renewed understanding of his own surgical skills, knowledge of the human body, and body modification technique. Uehara Soma is confident in making certain modifications to Ao's eyes. Even if the modification fails, it won't lead to worse consequences. Well then, let's give it a try. The modification Uehara Soma wants to make is quite simple. According to the original plot, after Kakashi obtained the Sharingan, he needed to wear an eye mask most of the time to mitigate the side effects of the Sharingan. Similarly, after acquiring the Byakugan, Ao also wore an eye mask. And he also used special sealing protection symbols. What Uehara Soma wants to do is to modify the tissues around Ao's eyes, allowing these tissues to have a certain degree of mobility to control the switch of the eyes. This should help reduce some of the side effects of eye transplantation. Mayuko Ringo noticed Uehara Soma's actions, opened her mouth as if to say something. But after seeing Uehara Soma's extremely smooth and confident actions, not seeming impromptu but rather very assured, She thought for a moment and ultimately said nothing. After a while, Uehara Soma stopped. Done. Thank you for your hard work. I'll take over from here, Mayuko Ringo said. Uehara Soma left the makeshift operating room. Soma, how did it go? Biwajuzo asked. It went smoothly enough, Uehara Soma replied. The surgery went well. Next, Ringo-senpai will perform medical ninjutsu on O-senpai. If everything goes as planned, O-senpai should recover quickly. Biwajuzo nodded. He had seen Ao before. While they weren't particularly familiar, Biwajuzo knew Ao was a decent ninja. However, this time, Ao's performance astonished Biwajuzo. He had managed to defeat a ninja from the Hyuga clan and successfully snatch a Byakugan from them, bringing it back to the Hidden Mist village. This is something many ninjas aspire to but fail to achieve. Compared to Ao, my performance as one of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist is far inferior. Clearly, we are the ones whom the village has higher expectations for. But next time, it won't be like this. Shortly after, Mayuko Ringo emerged. Mayuko-senpai, how did it go? It went quite well, Mayuko Ringo said. The main issue with Ao was the surgery. Soma, you did a great job with the surgery, so I just need to handle some follow-up work, which shouldn't be difficult. However, there are some matters in the medical department that I need to attend to. Since Ao won't be able to move for a while, can he stay on Forging Island? Uehara Soma nodded. No problem. Mayuko Ringo turned to leave, but halfway, she stopped again. Soma, are you interested in medical ninjutsu? Huh? Uehara Soma paused for a moment. If you're interested in medical ninjutsu, you can come to the medical department when you have time. I can personally teach you. I think you have great potential in medical ninjutsu, Mayuko Ringo said. Uehara Soma furrowed his brows, understanding that Mayuko Ringo was impressed by his surgical skills. However, he knew that he didn't have a talent for medical ninjutsu, at least not for now. He only had a bit of skill in body modification technique. While there were similarities between the two, they were not entirely the same. Moreover, Uehara Soma's gained his expertise in body modification technique through experience, not innate talent. Okay, Uehara Soma replied without committing to anything specific. Mayuko Ringo nodded and left. Biwajuzo quickly approached Uehara Soma. Soma, it seems your talent isn't limited to forging technique and water release. You possess strong talent in other areas as well. If you hadn't become a blacksmith, you would surely be an exceptionally strong ninja by now. You are a true genius. But becoming a blacksmith is also excellent. However, Soma, there's no need for you to learn medical ninjutsu right now. Medical ninjutsu is about saving others, and currently, in the Hidden Mist village, no one's life is more important than yours. So it's more important for you to enhance your self-defense capabilities. Biwajuzo paused for a moment. As for your upcoming training plan, I've thought about it. You've already mastered quite a bit of water release ninjutsu. It's difficult to obtain even more powerful water release ninjutsu. Learning those mediocre skills would be meaningless. Compared to ninjutsu, what you urgently need to improve, Soma, are your basic attributes. Next, I will devise a rigorous physical training plan for you. It will be tough. But I hope you can persevere, Soma. After all, considering your situation, you will likely encounter many dangers in the future and must have sufficient strength. Uehara Soma nodded. No problem, Juzo-senpai. Whatever you arrange, I can endure. In this regard, Uehara Soma and Biwajuzo shared the same mindset. Uehara Soma was well aware of the dangers in this world. Without strength, everything was just empty talk. What was a little hardship in comparison? Inside the operating room, Ao opened his eyes. Hiss. A sound of sharp inhaling echoed. Ao felt pain all over his body. Some memories surfaced in Ao's mind. I remember, I successfully ambushed a member of the Hyuga clan and brought back a Byakugan, but on the way back, I was attacked several times and severely injured. Then, I fell into a coma. At one point, I woke up. I was lying down, and there were 2 people standing beside me. One was Mayuko-senpai from the medical department, and the other, I didn't recognize, was a young boy. The two of them were doing something to my body. Ao raised his arm, and his pupils contracted slightly. Because Ao saw that his arm was full of suture marks. Ao opened his shirt. Not only his arm, but his entire body was covered with suture marks. Ow! My injuries were so severe, but I'm still alive. Did Mayuko and that young boy save me? Ao smiled. It's really great to be alive. But the next moment, Ao became alert immediately. I wonder what happened to that Byakugan. Ao's eyes flickered. It's not that I don't want to trust everyone in the village, but the Byakugan is indeed too precious outside of Konoha. A single Byakugan can easily cause a bloodbath. Just then, Ao felt something strange coming from his right eye. Chapter 51, Between Family and Village. Subconsciously, Ao condensed his chakra into his right eye. Byakugan, activate. Afterwards, Ao's vision changed. The world seemed to turn into black and white, but he could see through objects, expanding his field of view to distant places. It's that young man. The one next to him is Biwajuzo. Am I using the power of the Byakugan now? The Byakugan is within me. I have become despicable. A look of shame appeared on Ao's face. A figure entered the land of water, entered the town, looked ahead, then entered the nearby tavern and went straight to the counter. A member of the Kaguya clan, upon seeing the newcomer, slightly narrowed their pupils. Hisashi, what brings you here? Kaguya-Kase quickly led Hyuga Hisashi into the adjacent secret room. This secret room was soundproof. After closing the door, Kaguya-Kase couldn't wait to ask, Kase, this time, our Hyuga clan is in big trouble. Hyuga Hisashi looked at Kaguya-Kase, sighed, and said, perhaps only your Kaguya clan can help us. What trouble? Kaguya-Kase's heart skipped a beat. Our Hyuga clan has lost a Byakugan, which fell into the hands of a ninja from your hidden mist village. As you know, the Byakugan of our Hyuga clan is absolutely not allowed to be lost. This concerns the survival of our Hyuga clan. Kaguya-Kase frowned. Who? Ow. Ow? Kaguya-Kase paused, saying, with Ao's strength, he managed to take the Byakugan from your Hyuga clan? Kaguya-Kase knew Ao was a Jonin, but in Kaguya-Kase's impression, Ao wasn't a very strong ninja. Hyuga Hisashi mentioning Ao's name surprised Kaguya-Kase. Hyuga Hisashi sighed. Ao set up traps, arranged ambushes. But ultimately, it was the carelessness of that member of our Hyuga clan's main family that led to this mistake. We don't expect to retrieve the Byakugan, just make it unusable. As long as your Kaguya clan helps our Hyuga clan in this matter, our Hyuga clan will owe a tremendous favor to the Kaguya clan. We will definitely repay the Kaguya clan accordingly. Otherwise, the future days of our Hyuga clan will be very difficult. Please, consider the 100 years of friendship between our Hyuga clan and your Kaguya clan, and help us. The Byakugan is truly crucial to our Hyuga clan. If it spreads outside, the significance of my Hyuga clan's existence will vanish. Kaguya-Kase remained silent for a long time. Hisashi, this matter is significant. I alone can't decide. I must report it to the clan head and let him decide. Please. After Kaguya-Kase brought this news back to the Hidden Mist Village, there were several different opinions within the Kaguya clan. One is refusing to help the Hyuga clan. We, the Kaguya clan of the Hidden Mist Village, indeed have a good relationship with the Hyuga clan. We usually help each other out with matters, no problem. However, this concerns the interests of the Hidden Mist Village. By helping the Hyuga clan, we would essentially betray the Hidden Mist Village. How can the Kaguya clan maintain itself in the Hidden Mist Village after that? Another one seemed hesitant. The loss of the Byakugan is indeed a big deal for the Hyuga clan. We have a long-standing friendship with the Hyuga clan, spanning over 100 years, even longer than the history of the ninja village. Moreover, seizing the Byakugan is somewhat excessive. Simply put, the relationship between our ninja clans and the ninja village is just one of cooperation. The clan is our foundation. The ninja clans existed before the ninja villages. A Kaguya ninja seemed dissatisfied with the current state of the Hidden Mist Village. The Hidden Mist Village has only been established for a few decades. What was the purpose of our ninja clans joining the village? Wasn't it to seek a more stable environment? But now? Warfare continues to erupt. If we win, it's not a problem. But the Hidden Mist Village has lost far more times than it has won. Among the major ninja villages, the Hidden Mist Village has always been near the bottom. This has caused our Kaguya clan to lose many resources and benefits. If we had joined another ninja village instead of the Hidden Mist Village at the beginning, the situation might have been much better. If the Hidden Mist Village were to perish in the wars, would our entire Kaguya clan have to follow suit and die? The ninja village is just temporary. The ninja clans are eternal. Unconsciously, the main topic of discussion within the Kaguya clan has changed. From whether to help the Hyuga clan solve the issue of the Byakugan, it has evolved into a debate over which is more important, the ninja clans or the ninja village, with each side holding their ground. We are aligned with the interests of the village. Stability in the village ensures our own stability. The village's interests should take precedence. A middle-aged individual stated. The person opposite him snorted. You are loyal to the village, but is the village good to you? The third Mizukage only ascended to the position of Mizukage with the support of our Kaguya clan. But what about now? Can't you see his attitude towards us? And what about the other elders in the village? Can't you see their attitude towards us? They say our Kaguya clan is inherently evil, with a volatile temperament. Our Kaguya clan has been isolated by the village. The middle-aged person retorted. That's because indeed some of our clan members have gone too far, abusing the civilians under the guise of being ninja clans. This requires internal restraint within the clan. HMPH, instead of condemning those who target us, you're blaming our own clan members. Since you think the clan is so bad and the village is so good, then you should leave the clan. The middle-aged person's fingers trembled with anger. I can't communicate with you at all. A figure, after listening to the argument of the crowd for a while, shook their head and walked away. Someone climbed to a high place and sat down against a rock. He looked up at the sky. Then he turned to look at the clan's headquarters. Afterward, his gaze fell in the direction of the Mizukage's building. Kaguya Masui sighed. On one side, there's the clan. On one side, there's the village. How should I choose? The conflict between the clan and the village has become increasingly intense. Isn't there any way to resolve this? Why have things become like this? Chapter 52, Kaguya Clan's Beginning of the End. Who can help me solve this doubt? In Kaguya Masui's mind, a figure suddenly emerged. The figure of the third Mizukage. It was an evening under the setting sun. Kaguya Masui returned from the battlefield. It was Kaguya Masui's first time on the battlefield. Despite having experienced the ordeal of the Bloody Mist, Kaguya Masui, being of the Kaguya clan, did not suffer as harshly from the Bloody Mist. It was not as severe, bloody, or cruel. Therefore, the scenes on the battlefield had a huge impact on Kaguya Masui. Kaguya Masui watched helplessly as comrades died one after another. Blood flowed. Kaguya Masui couldn't find the meaning of the war. Kaguya Masui fell into extreme confusion. And at that moment, Kaguya Masui happened to encounter the third Mizukage. The purpose of war is to protect the village. The meaning of a ninja's existence is also to protect. Ninjas come from the village. As long as the village exists, everyone does too. Therefore, we must work harder, strive harder, to protect the village. This is the meaning of war. The third Mizukage spoke to Kaguya Masui. After that, Kaguya Masui pondered for a long time. What is a village? What is war? What is death? What is a clan? What is a cage? Kaguya Masui began to observe. And among the results of this observation, the Kaguya clan was very disappointing to Kaguya Masui. In their eyes, there was only the clan, no village. They considered themselves superior. Some were even only concerned with their own personal interests. Kaguya Masui did not believe that their doubts could be answered by the people of the village in their clan. The people in the clan are too narrow-minded. But, I must find a compromise. To resolve the conflict between the clan and the village. Mizukage Sama might be able to give me some guidance. After all, he is the cage. Kaguya Masui headed towards the direction of the Mizukage's building. Inside. Kaguya-en stood up. Quiet. The voices of the crowd gradually stopped. As the clan head of the Kaguya clan, most of the people in the Kaguya clan were unruly, but in such situations, they still gave Kaguya-en some face. Everyone, I have heard your thoughts. I have also thought about this matter seriously. Whether we refuse or agree, it is not a suitable choice for our Kaguya clan. Directly refusing would break the 100-year friendship between our Kaguya clan and the Hyuga clan. For our Kaguya clan, losing such an ally would be a huge loss. But if we really destroy that Byakugan, it would be betraying the village. The other people in the village would not forgive us, and our situation in the Hidden Mist village would become even more difficult. Unless we have independence and break away from the Hidden Mist village. Or, instigate a civil war to seize control of the Hidden Mist village. But for now, none of this is very realistic. What Kaguya-en said actually represented the thoughts of some members of the Kaguya clan. Some members of the Kaguya clan feel that the position of the 4th Mizukage should belong to the Kaguya clan. In their view, the 3rd Mizukage is already old, and the 7 swordsmen of the Mist suffered a major defeat, losing their qualifications to succeed as Mizukage. And after the decline of the Hozuki clan, the Kaguya clan is currently the largest ninja clan in the Hidden Mist village. Apart from the Kaguya clan, who else is suitable for the position of Mizukage? On the other hand, some members of the Kaguya clan feel that the Hidden Mist village is too weak and it would be better to join a stronger ninja village like Konoha directly through the Hyuga clan's connections. Compared to the former, the latter is undoubtedly more naive. Of course, the Hidden Mist village has its problems. But does Konoha have no problems? Moreover, they will be considered a ninja clan that joined Konoha later. How much trust can they gain? How much suspicion will they face? So, my idea is, Kaguya-en continued, we pretend to agree to the Hyuga clan's request and make some visible efforts to investigate the actions of that Byakugan, but we don't actually destroy it. This way, we won't rupture our relationship with the Hyuga clan. After all, we've already agreed to their request, and we've made efforts. It's just that our abilities are insufficient to accomplish it. And we won't betray the village. Everyone looked at each other without speaking. For now, Kaguya-en's approach might be the best. However, this method has a major flaw. It absolutely cannot be known by others. Once others find out, then the friendship with the Hyuga clan will break. Not helping means not helping. Pretending to help, but not actually helping and deceiving, treating others like fools? And they will be suspected by the other people in the village. Who knows if you really didn't betray the village, or if you're just saying that because you couldn't do it on purpose. Once suspicion breeds, it's hard to eliminate. Moreover, if that Byakugan is really destroyed or lost, then everyone in the village will blame the Kaguya clan. That's settled then. Today's events must be kept absolutely confidential. Everyone, remember. Dismissed. People left one after another. Just at that moment, a figure swiftly arrived in front of Kaguya-en. Clan head, something bad happened. What happened? Kaguya Masui went to the Mizukage's building, just now. What? Kaguya-en was startled. And the several members of the Kaguya clan who had not yet left the meeting room also stopped in their tracks upon hearing this. What did you say? For a moment, everyone became alert. They had just been discussing matters concerning the clan and the village, and now there was talk about the Hyuga Byakugan. Even though Kaguya Masui wasn't a participant in the meeting. But the others weren't on guard against Kaguya Masui either. After all, Kaguya Masui was one of the young geniuses of the Kaguya clan. Kaguya Masui had just been here. It's highly likely that he overheard something. In this situation, with Kaguya Masui heading to the Mizukage's building, everyone couldn't help but worry. If Kaguya Masui were to tell 3rd Mizukage about what was discussed in the meeting just now, then what would 3rd Mizukage's reaction be? This would be extremely bad for the Kaguya clan. Clan head, what should we do? Kaguya-en's face darkened. Now that Masui has gone to the Mizukage's building, even if we want to stop him, it's too late. All we can do is hope that Masui has other reasons. But we must prepare for the worst. A middle-aged person looked at Kaguya-en. Clan head, what is the worst-case scenario? Either fight or flee. Chapter 53, Uehara Soma feels lost. Masui, sit. Third Mizukage looked at Kaguya Masui, with a hint of admiration in his eyes. The Kaguya clan, in the eyes of the third Mizukage, seemed to be quite problematic. He is irritable, arrogant, and extremely self-centered. However, among the many members of the Kaguya clan, there are also a few who are good. Kaguya Masui is one of them. The third Mizukage can see that Kaguya Masui's caliber is different from that of other Kaguya members. His vision is not limited to the clan, but extends to the entire village. If anyone could change the Kaguya clan's future, the third Mizukage thinks it's only Kaguya Masui. Mizukage-sama. Kaguya Masui sits down, looking at the third Mizukage, hesitating. What do you want to say, Masui? Just say it. Mizukage-sama, how should we balance between the family and the village? Kaguya Masui looks troubled. I can feel that there seems to be an increasing estrangement between the Kaguya clan and the village. How can we bring the Kaguya clan and the village closer together again? The third Mizukage sighed. This issue is indeed a problem. It's a problem that has been forming for a long time and won't be resolved in a short while. But, Masui, I believe this issue can be resolved. It's just that we need more people like you, Masui. Currently, the situation within the Kaguya clan is complicated, and outsiders getting involved will only lead to resentment. Therefore, the only one who can change this situation is you, Masui. Masui, you can communicate more with other members within the Kaguya clan and change their mindset. But don't clash with the stubborn ones. Gradually, you will influence some people. In the future, you may even become one of the elders of the Kaguya clan, or even the future clan head. I will support you. Masui, you will be in charge of the internal affairs of the Kaguya clan. I will control the affairs outside the Kaguya clan. The attitude of the third Mizukage made Kaguya Masui relax a lot. Alright, Mizukage-sama, I will do as you say. The third Mizukage patted Kaguya Masui's shoulder. Masui, don't worry too much, all problems will be solved. At this moment, on the battlefield in the Land of Fire, a small figure raised his head, with a hint of confusion in his eyes. Shizui, what's wrong? A companion asked. Uehara Shizui shook his head. Just now, Uehara Shizui suddenly felt like he had lost something. Not long after Kaguya Masui left, a figure swiftly entered the Mizukage's building. Mizukage-sama. What is it? The third Mizukage looked at the Anbu ninja in front of him. Osama has awakened. Awake? How is the situation? The surgery went smoothly. There shouldn't be any problems. The Byakugan has also integrated well. Upon hearing this, the third Mizukage felt even more delighted. Good. 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 Where is Ao now? He's still on Forging Island. I'll go over there now. The third Mizukage flashed his figure, disappearing. When he reappeared, he had already left the Mizukage's building. Instead of taking the usual route, he walked directly on the water, taking the shortest route to arrive at Forging Island. Mizukage-sama. Uehara Soma, Biwa Juzo, Arafuni, all looked over. Juzo, Soma. Mizukage-sama, Ao-senpai is still unable to move. He's currently resting in bed, but his spirits are good. Take me to him. Yes, Mizukage-sama. Uehara Soma led the way ahead. Arriving at the door of the operating room, which had been converted from a vacant forge, no, this was no longer an operating room. It was now Ao's recuperation ward. He reached out and knocked on the door. Ao-senpai, Mizukage-sama is here to see you. Please let Mizukage-sama in. Ao struggled to get up, but with a futile effort, he couldn't rise. The third Mizukage hurried forward. Don't move, don't worsen your injuries. Mizukage-sama, thank you. Ao looked at the third Mizukage, genuine gratitude shining in his eyes. He was well aware of his injuries. To save him was not an easy task. The ones who truly treated him were Mayuko Rinko and Uehara Soma. But it was the third Mizukage who allocated resources. And, Ao had thought the Byakugan was no longer within him. No need to thank me. If you want to thank someone, thank Soma and Mayuko. The third Mizukage paused for a moment. Ao, how's your usage of the Byakugan? Mizukage-sama, it's quite smooth. Ao continued, It's better than I imagined, with fewer side effects. And I can freely control the activation of the Byakugan, perhaps slightly inferior to the Hyuga main family. That's very good. The third Mizukage smiled. Take good care of yourself. In the future, our hidden mist village will have its own Byakugan. In the battles to come, we won't continue to suffer such losses at the hands of Konoha in this regard. The third Mizukage sighed. Because of the issue with the Byakugan, countless ninja from our hidden mist village, despite having stronger abilities, have been killed in ambushes by Konoha ninja. Mizukage Sama, I also thought the same way, so I spared no effort to bring back this Byakugan at any cost. Ao said with some emotion. Fortunately, it was successful. It wasn't in vain for everyone's sacrifices. For this plan, Ao had made arrangements for a long time. The counterattack from Konoha was somewhat beyond Ao's expectations. Therefore, in order to protect this Byakugan, Hidden Mist Village sacrificed many ninjas. Some of these people were Ao's trusted companions. Others were loyal subordinates. I won't let their sacrifices be in vain. Once I recover, I will make good use of this Byakugan and strive to gain an advantage on the battlefield, showing Konoha ninja what we're made of. Good. A figure quickly approached. Mizukage Sama. What is it? The third Mizukage looked at the appearing Anbu ninja. The Anbu ninja stepped forward, lowering their voice. What is it? The next moment, the third Mizukage disappeared instantly. A young man was brought to the edge of Forging Island by the Anbu ninja. The third Mizukage looked at the young man, furrowing his brow. Kagayoneko, what happened exactly? Kagayoneko bowed his head and quickly explained. In the recuperation room. Ao looked towards Uehara Soma. Soma, thank you. Ao senpai, don't mention it. Oh, by the way, Soma, did you do something to my right eye? After much hesitation, Ao finally asked the question. Biwajuzo couldn't help but look over. Uehara Soma nodded. Yes. When we were performing surgery on you earlier, Ao senpai, I felt that your right eye didn't quite match the Byakugan. Some parts seem to be obstructed. This is somewhat similar to the issue I encountered during forging. So, I tried to make some changes to the right eye part of Ao senpai following the principles of forging ninja tools. After confirming that it had a positive effect, I continued with the procedure. Ao's expression turned surprised. Chapter 54, Byakugan vs Yokai Hamadara's Genjutsu. Forging technique? Uehara Soma nodded and said, my former sensei once told me that ninjato, like humans, has a life, so when I forge, I treat the ninjato as a life. While operating on Ao senpai, I did indeed find similarities. I acted on my own discretion, please forgive me, Ao senpai. After hearing Uehara Soma's words, Biwajuzo subconsciously looked at the blue rose sword strapped to his waist. No, number. Ao hurriedly shook his head. If it weren't for you performing the surgery on me, I would probably have died long ago, and you, Soma, are kind-hearted, and the result is good. I'm happy beyond words. Then Ao quickly changed the subject. I heard that a new ninjato has appeared in the village named Kirijimanji, also known as the Unhealable Blade. What's the connection between the blacksmith who forged that ninjato and you, Soma? Uehara Soma smiled. Kirijimanji is precisely what I forged. Given Ao's current condition, Uehara Soma had nothing to hide about this. You? Ao's pupils contracted. Ao senpai doesn't believe? It's not that I don't believe, it's just that you're too young, Soma. Ao said, I thought that the blacksmith who could forge such a ninjato would be older, but I didn't expect you to have such remarkable forging technique at such a young age. I should have realized earlier. My injuries, even the medical ninjas from the medical department couldn't perform surgery. They needed you to step in. As a blacksmith, your forging technique must be the best on Forging Island. Saying this, I looked at Biwajuzo again. Juzo, what's your position on Forging Island? Ao's age wasn't much different from Biwajuzo's, so they addressed each other as peers. I am currently the guardian of Forging Island, solely responsible for Soma's security. Ao nodded. With Soma's situation, the village indeed needs proper protection. By the way, Juzo, what about your executioner's blade? Did Mizukage-sama take it back because of that incident? The incident Ao referred to was the tragic defeat of the 7 swordsmen of the mist against Maijui. No, I voluntarily returned it to Mizukage-sama. Biwajuzo said lightly, because I already have a ninjato more suitable for me, also forged by Soma. This blue rose sword. The executioner's blade is no longer needed for me. With his Byakugan, Ao had long recognized the excellence of the blue rose sword. But he didn't expect that this ninjato was also crafted by Uehara Soma. 1 sword could be luck. But 2 swords, that was truly skill. As members of the Hidden Mist Village, Ao looked at Uehara Soma, feeling a surge of excitement in his heart. The Hidden Mist Village has produced another great blacksmith. This is truly fantastic. For the Hidden Mist Village, the more ninjatos, the stronger the village's power naturally becomes. Moreover, Ao's heart also harbored some expectations that he could obtain a ninjato suitable for himself. Ao wasn't so concerned about the previous Hidden Mist 7 ninja swords, because Ao felt they didn't quite suit him. But now, the situation was different. Perhaps the ninjato Uehara Soma would forge in the future would be suitable for him? Perhaps it would perfectly complement his abilities? Ao hesitated for a moment. Soma, you helped me with the surgery, which is equivalent to saving my life and doing me a great favor. Is there anything I can help you with? Feel free to ask. There is indeed something I need your help with, Ao-senpai. What is it? I heard that the Byakugan can see through all genjutsu. Could you please carefully examine Forging Island and see if there are any traces of genjutsu on me? Uehara Soma said, I heard that the Ukaiha's genjutsu is undetectable. Konoha might take action now that they know about Kirichimanji. It's unlikely that someone from the Ukaiha clan could infiltrate Forging Island. This area is the central rear area of our village. Despite Ao's words, he still nodded. I'll give it a try. Naturally, this wasn't Uehara Soma's main objective. It's just that the 3rd Mizukage happens to be on Forging Island right now. Let Ao, who possesses the Byakugan, conduct a thorough scan. Naturally, it would also include the 3rd Mizukage. Byakugan. Ao concentrated his chakra into his right eye. The next moment, Ao's right eye changed. The blood vessels around the eye sockets swelled, giving a ferocious appearance. Farsight. Perspective. Ao let his vision sweep around himself as the center. Uehara Soma. Biwajuzo. Arafuni. 3rd Mizukage. Anbu Ninja. Kagayoneko. As well as the animals living on Forging Island. Hiss. A wave of intense pain surged up, and Ao quickly cancelled the Byakugan state. Using the Byakugan in his current physical condition was quite taxing for Ao. Ao-senpai, are you okay? I'm fine. Ao shook his head. Just feeling a bit off. Using the Byakugan consumes quite a bit of energy, especially since I'm not very skilled with it yet. I've checked the surroundings, and everything seems fine. You, Juzo, the person outside, and even further away, Mizukage-sama, all show no traces of genjutsu. Uehara Soma smiled. It's good that there's nothing wrong. I can relax now. Thank you, Ao-senpai. However, Uehara Soma still had doubts about whether the 3rd Mizukage was under genjutsu. Because, according to the timing, he should have been. However, Ao hadn't seen any traces of genjutsu on the 3rd Mizukage. Uehara Soma's eyes flickered. Just because Ao hadn't seen any traces of genjutsu on the 3rd Mizukage didn't necessarily mean that the 3rd Mizukage hadn't been affected by genjutsu. There was another possibility. The 3rd Mizukage could be under genjutsu, but Ao couldn't detect it. This was quite possible. After all, Ao had only just gained the Byakugan, and he wasn't originally from the Hyuga clan. Moreover, if the 3rd Mizukage was indeed under genjutsu, it would be Ukaiha Madara's genjutsu. Could an ordinary, unskilled Byakugan see through Ukaiha Madara's genjutsu? If they can't see it, then trying to unravel Ukaiha Madara's plot against the Hidden Mist Village by seeing through the genjutsu on the 3rd Mizukage won't work. Mizukage-sama, Masui-senpai has been captured by them and detained. Kagayoneko said. What? Why? The third Mizukige's pupils contracted. The Hyuga clan sent someone over to the Kaguya clan to help investigate the situation regarding the lost Byakugan. The Hyuga clan from Konoha actually asked our Kaguya clan from the Hidden Mist village to investigate? The third Mizukige frowned deeply. Did your Kaguya clan agree? Kaguya Neko nodded, then shook his head. Some agreed, some disagreed. Later, the clan head made the final decision. We agreed on the surface to the Hyuga clan's request, but in reality, we didn't take any related actions. Later, we'll reply to the Hyuga clan that our Kaguya clan has done our best. Chapter 55, The Kaguya clan's Itachi. The third Mizukige's expression eased slightly. If the Kaguya clan really agreed to the Hyuga clan, no matter how important the Byakugan is to the Hyuga clan, no matter how good the relationship between the Kaguya clan and the Hyuga clan is, regardless of how much favor one owes the Kaguya clan, but as long as the Kaguya clan makes such a decision, then, the Kaguya clan is a traitor to the Hidden Mist village. However, this does not mean that the third Mizukige completely trusts the Kaguya clan. According to what Kaguya Neko said, the Kaguya clan and the Hyuga clan have a close relationship, and they are embarrassed to directly refuse such a rude request from the Hyuga clan. How close is this relationship? So in the future, when faced with a choice between the Hyuga and the village, which side will the Kaguya clan choose? In addition, the decision made by the Kaguya clan head is to pretend to agree with the Hyuga clan, but not actually act. But is this really true? What if this is just a decoy released by the Kaguya clan? If the Kaguya clan really prioritizes the village, why didn't they report such news to me, the Mizukige? Moreover, the decision made by the Kaguya clan head was made in controversy. This means that at least some members of the Kaguya clan are willing to help the Hyuga clan. This is an act of betrayal. Even after the decision made by the Kaguya clan head, there may still be members of the Kaguya clan acting alone in secret. Kaguya Neko continued. At this time, people in the clan learned about Masui-senpai's visit to the Mizukige's building and thought Masui-senpai had leaked the information, so when Masui-senpai returned to the clan, they immediately detained him. Hearing this, the third Mizukige understood why Kaguya Masui had suddenly approached him earlier and asked such questions. Is Masui in danger now? Kaguya Neko shook his head. Not for the moment, those people in the clan just detained Masui-senpai. But, Mizukige-sama, with this incident, the relationship between the Kaguya clan and the village will inevitably worsen. I really can't think of a solution to this problem. Now, the Kaguya clan and the village are quite divided. The Kaguya clan feels targeted by other people in the village, while other people in the village find it difficult to get along with the Kaguya clan. Some members of the Kaguya clan even want to leave the village, either taking their clan members and leaving the village, or initiating a civil war to seize control of the village. Kaguya Neko showed a pained expression. Some people within the clan are really too radical, too extreme, they only see themselves in their eyes, there is no village at all, too narrow-minded, just like madmen. The pupils of the third Mizukige contracted. He held no expectations for the Kaguya clan. Years of interaction had left the third Mizukige disappointed with the Kaguya clan. However, the third Mizukige didn't expect the situation to be even worse than he had anticipated. These members of the Kaguya clan actually want to defect and leave the village? Or perhaps instigate a civil war? Regardless of which, both are extremely excessive actions, even in peacetime, let alone now in wartime. If it truly happens, it will be a fatal blow to the Hidden Mist village. The third Mizukige absolutely cannot allow such a thing to occur. Neko. The expression of the third Mizukige became serious. Mizukige-sama. Can I trust you? Mizukige-sama, in my heart, the village comes before everything else. Now that Masui-senpai is imprisoned and unable to escape, I want to help Masui-senpai fulfill his intentions. Kaguya Neko said, Mizukige-sama, I swear on my life, I am absolutely trustworthy. Good. The third Mizukige nodded. Neko, I need you to monitor the situation of the Kaguya clan. Once there are any movements, report to me immediately. Can you do that? No problem. The third Mizukige patted Kaguya Neko's shoulder. Neko, I leave it to you. Ms. Yukige-sama, rest assured. In Konoha, a figure about 4 or 5 years old sat on a branch in the backyard, playing with a kunai in hand, small eyes looking into the distance, showing a deep contemplative expression. Suddenly, the little boy looked up, gazing into the sky. Just now, the boy felt like he had inexplicably lost something. Itachi, dinner time. A figure appeared in the backyard with a bulging belly. Okay, mother. Uchiha Itachi leapt down. At the dinner table, Uchiha Fugaku looked at Uchiha Itachi and suddenly had an idea. Itachi, get ready. In a few days, I will go to the battlefield for a mission. You should come with me. You're not young anymore. It's time for you to see the real ninja world. Uchiha Mikoto's expression froze. Uchiha Itachi nodded. Yes, father. Uchiha Itachi felt somewhat curious and at the same time, a bit eager about the battlefield. Soon, after finishing dinner, Uchiha Itachi returned to his room. Uchiha Mikoto looked at Uchiha Fugaku. Fugaku, isn't it a bit too early to let Itachi go to the battlefield? He's still so young. It's not too early. I'm just letting him have a look. It's not like I'm sending him into battle. Uchiha Fugaku paused for a moment. That boy Shizui is too dazzling. Itachi's talent is not inferior to Shizui's, but if Shizui's reputation becomes established, even if Itachi surpasses him in the future, he will always be in Shizui's shadow. At that time, the position of clan head may not necessarily fall to Itachi. I'm doing this for Itachi's future. And seeing the battlefield early will also benefit Itachi. Uchiha Fugaku persuaded Uchiha Mikoto. The third Mizukage watched as Kaguya Neko's figure left. Immediately afterward, he summoned the Anbu ninja. Mizukage-sama. Arrange it. Put the Kaguya clan under level 1 surveillance. Yes, Mizukage-sama. The third Mizukage looked back in the direction where Uehara Soma and the others were. In this situation, it's better to keep our whereabouts hidden for now. We can't take risks. Forging Island, relatively speaking, would be a good location. Let us stay at Forging Island. I'll deploy additional Anbu ninja. At the same time, Ao's presence, along with the Byakugan's presence, will also significantly enhance the defensive capabilities of Forging Island. The third Mizukage's eyes flickered. The situation with this Kaguya clan is much worse than I had anticipated. It seems we need to prepare for the worst. I used to cherish some of our past relationships, but for the Hidden Mist Village, I cannot do this. Nothing is more important than the village. I hope the Kaguya clan won't go down the path of no return. Chapter 56, Kisame's new titles. When the third Mizukage's order came down, Ao officially became a temporary member of Forging Island. Biwajuzo's plan for Uehara Soma has already emerged. Half physical training, half close combat taijutsu. Throughout the day, Uehara Soma had almost no surplus physical strength. However, correspondingly, Uehara Soma has also gained a lot and progressed. Previously, Uehara Soma lacked training in this area. Therefore, at the beginning, there would be relatively good results, but as time goes on, this effect will gradually diminish, requiring alternative methods, or relying on the passage of time. It's like a failing student who, through cramming, can easily achieve a score of 60. However, if they want to improve to 90, the difficulty level increases significantly. Currently, Uehara Soma is in the 0 to 60 stage. After dinner, back in the room, Uehara Soma lay on the bed, adjusted his breathing, and looked at the semi-transparent screen in front of him. Name, Uehara Soma. Comprehensive Strength, Chunin. Swordsmanship, Familiar, 1300. Body Modification Technique, Familiar, 2000. Forging Technique, Good, Proficient, Forging Island Bonus, God's Hand Bonus. Mission Items, Thug Recruitment Token X2. Blacksmith Reputation, 753. Evaluation, as a blacksmith, the foundation is decent. Having one's own forging site and equipment, the forging technique receives bonuses, with a chance to craft ninja tools above exquisite quality. As a ninja, The strength is worrying, in times of war, considered as high-level cannon fodder. Thanks to Ao-senpai and Mayuko-senpai, my reputation increased a bit. But it's still nearly 250 points away from 1000 reputation. Previously, there were 2 sudden reputation surges. One was because of the Kaguya clan. The other was due to Kisame's performance on the battlefield. Kisame mentioned before that he wouldn't stay in the village for long this time. After a few days, I'll be heading to the battlefield again. So, there's no need for me to rush to use the arrangement. When Kisame goes to the battlefield, he can definitely help me gain a lot of reputation. Reaching 10 consecutive draws shouldn't be a problem. Before using the arrangement, I need to find some time to do some basic forging. Besides special ninjato, I also need to forge some using common materials, but they should be better than those forged by other blacksmiths. This way, I can reduce others' suspicions. It won't be said that I can't even forge ordinary high-quality ninjato but can forge special ones, which would be problematic. The forging master Holy Land, although it's just a reason I made up, it's not good for too many people to know. This will also serve as a deterrent for future assistants. They won't question my forging technique. 2 days later, Hoshigaki Kisame came to Forging Island. After a few more days, Uehara Soma saw that the number in the reputation column on the semi-transparent screen in front of him was changing. It was almost close to 800. Land of Fire. Hoshigaki Kisame's figure flashed. PFFT. The throat of a Konoha ninja was slashed open. Hoshigaki Kisame didn't look back but quickly rushed toward another Konoha ninja. With a regular blade, there might still be a chance to stop the bleeding for that Konoha ninja. But this was Kirichimanji. A cry of alarm resounded. He's the 8th blade of the Hidden Mist Village. It's the unhealable blade. It's Kirichimanji. It's Hoshigaki Kisame. He's the bloodthirsty shark. Hoshigaki Kisame's eye twitched. The bloodthirsty shark? Konoha people really don't know how to name things. Are they all learning from that golden flash? Just as Hoshigaki Kisame was about to pursue, a figure rushed over at an extremely fast speed, with unpredictable lightning flashing in his hand, and several shurikens flying at the same time. Ding! A series of metal collisions rang out. Hoshigaki Kisame took a few steps back and looked at the newcomer. Hatake Kakashi. What about Sarutobi Asuma? Is he too afraid to come to the battlefield anymore? The son of the Hokage, coming to the battlefield and still needing someone to protect him in secret, it's ridiculous. Kakashi didn't answer, just looked seriously at Hoshigaki Kisame. No words? Or nothing to say? Hoshigaki Kisame tightened the grip on the handle of his sword. This is my last day here. What do you mean? Hoshigaki Kisame raised an eyebrow slightly. Are you going to die? Kakashi's expressionless face twitched for a moment. Tomorrow, I will go to another battlefield. Kakashi's presence on this battlefield is temporary. He's not teammates with Sarutobi Asuma either. Kakashi's teammates are Uchiha Obito and Nohara Rin. Tomorrow, Kakashi will go to the area where Uchiha Obito and Nohara Rin are and meet up with them. Then you don't need to go. Hoshigaki Kisame grinned. Because I will kill you here. Come, let's finish the fight we didn't last time. This time, there are no ninjas secretly protecting you. No, I will kill you, and last time, that ninja wasn't protecting me. Between the two, a fight was about to erupt. It attracted the attention of many ninjas who were fighting nearby. Who do you think will win this time? Strictly speaking, last time, Hoshigaki Kisame was the winner. Last time, Hoshigaki Kisame won simply because no one knew about the information on that ninjato, but this time is different. Kakashi must have come prepared. Kakashi is a genius from Konoha. Not only is he proficient in lightning release, but he also has a good understanding of Kenjutsu. After all, he's the son of Konoha's White Fang. This time, he won't lose, said the Konoha ninjas. To this, the Hidden Mist ninja had only one response. If he can beat him once, he can beat him twice. Uehara Soma's gradually adapted to the physical training arranged by Biwajuzo, and even after training, there would still be some residual physical strength. No, Calling it residual strength isn't quite accurate. A more accurate way to put it is that after exhausting his stamina, Uehara Soma would rest for a moment and then feel a new surge of energy in his body. Biwajuzo said it's a normal phenomenon, indicating that the training is effective. Entering the forging room. A pile of materials is placed on the side. Uehara Soma closed his eyes first and organized his thoughts. Let's start with common ninja tools found in the shinobi world. Long sword, short sword, kunai, shuriken, senbon. I wonder what difference there will be between the ninja tools forged by my proficient level forging technique and regular ones. But surely they won't be inferior to them. Chapter 57, Evil Intentions. A figure hurriedly ran to Kaguya-en. Clan head, Kaguya-tai quietly left. I don't know what he's going to do. What? Immediately, Kaguya-en became vigilant. For members of the Kaguya clan, Kaguya-en was quite disappointed in most of them. If communication was already abandoned with Kaguya Hikari, then with Kaguya-tai, just hearing that name gave Kaguya-en a headache. Someone who, in Kaguya-en's view, had serious problems in their head, beyond cure. Repeatedly propagating radical ideas within the clan. Saying things like the shinobi are aristocrats, and commoners are lowly. Moreover, on the battlefield, for merit, he had clashed with fellow villagers. And now, it was just a complicated situation. Kaguya-tai suddenly disappearing, Kaguya-en felt that Kaguya-tai must be attempting something crazy. He might very well be making some shocking move. Bringing great trouble to the Kaguya clan. Quick, go find him. Yes, clan head. A young man turned to glance back at Kaguya Island. Clan head is too fearful of the Mizukage. Kekai Genkai, secret jutsu, they are the foundation on which ninja families thrive, and should never be plundered. Even in the shinobi village war, they should not have touched this. Otherwise, what difference is there between ninja families and ordinary ninjas? Ninja families are the aristocrats among ninjas. Aristocrats must uphold aristocratic principles. Today, our Kaguya clan is indifferent to the loss of the Byakugan. In the future, those ninja families who are friendly with us will also treat the loss of the Shikatsumiaka in the same way. War is war. Shinobi are shinobi. Ninja villages are temporary. Shinobi are permanent. As shinobi, how can we not uphold the rules of shinobi? Tai withdrew his gaze. According to the information provided by Hisashi, if I was severely injured, he will undoubtedly receive treatment from medical ninjas. I can start with the medical department. The next moment, Tai's figure disappeared in a flash. Done. Uehara Soma looked at the work in front of him, revealing a smile. This was the first time Uehara Soma had crafted ordinary shinobi tools after reaching the proficient level in forging technique. A kunai, a shuriken, a long sword, a short sword, and a senbon. And next to them were identical shinobi tools produced in the Land of Iron. Uehara Soma was holding both, comparing them. No wonder shinobi tools from the Land of Iron are so popular. They're cheap and of good quality. Whether it's price or quality, the shinobi tools forged by Forging Island before have no competitive edge. Only a few craftsmen's crafted shinobi tools have slightly more excellent quality. This indicates that the Land of Iron must have adopted some new technology. However, there are still significant differences between the shinobi tools I craft and those from the Land of Iron. Uehara Soma glanced at the semi-transparent panel in front of him. The reputation number on it had already surpassed 800. I can't rely solely on Kisame to increase my reputation. I have to work hard on my own too. A thought flashed through Uehara Soma's mind. To gain reputation, it inevitably involves exposing one's own information. But if faced with someone who already knows your information, then this wouldn't be a problem. And now, there happens to be such a person. Mayuko Ringo. I can craft a set of scalpels for Mayuko-senpai. Uehara Soma's crafted ninja tools surpass the quality of those from the Land of Iron, but for ninjas, they don't hold much significance. However, scalpels are different. On the Land of Iron's side, there's no particular advantage in this regard. Because it's not something with high demand. With the Land of Iron's style, they naturally wouldn't invest too many resources in research. Arafune. Chief Uehara. Prepare, I plan to craft a set of scalpels tomorrow, you watch along. Yes, Chief Uehara. The benefit of having an assistant lies here, many things Uehara Soma doesn't need to handle personally can be done by him. The next day, after finishing training, Uehara Soma rested for less than half an hour before entering the forging room. Chief Uehara. Arafune seemed somewhat excited. Previously, Uehara Soma would have Arafune assist from the side, but it was only during simulated forging. When truly forging a ninjato, Uehara Soma is always alone. But this time, Uehara Soma's intention was clearly to allow Arafune to fully observe his forging process. This made Arafune very excited. In previous situations, Arafune could also learn some things. But that's absolutely different from witnessing a complete forging process. A blueprint was laid out beside, depicting the pattern of scalpel from the Hidden Mist Village Medical Department. 9 in total. A metal ingot was taken out by Uehara Soma. Immediately, Uehara Soma opened a lid next to the forging table. A wave of heat rushed out fiercely. What flowed below was magma. Uehara Soma placed the metal ingot on top of the magma, and then added some charcoal to increase the fire. While stepping on the bellows, he made the fire more intense. Before long, under the high temperature, the metal ingot turned red, showing signs of melting. Arafune closely watched the state of the metal ingot. Because taking out a metal ingot in different states for forging would yield completely different effects. A slight difference could result in significant changes. It's like a baby eagle breaking out of its shell. A few seconds early or late could pose danger to the baby eagle. Under the same other conditions, only the baby eagle that hatches at just the right moment would be the strongest. Moreover, in the absence of sufficient precise instruments, only the skills and experience of the blacksmith can judge. All right. When the metal ingot reached the perfect state, Uehara Soma naturally felt a certain sensation in his heart. Without hesitation, he took out the metal ingot. Wearing God's hand, holding the iron hammer. Lava forging. One strike. Ding. Under Uehara Soma's forging, the metal ingot deformed. Onlookers see the excitement, experts see the intricacies. Ordinary people only notice the deformation of the metal ingot. But Arafune could discern that when Uehara Soma's hammer fell, both the striking point and the force were just right to less or more would make a difference. Arafune couldn't help but sigh inwardly. So this is Chief Uehara's forging technique. It's like something I've dreamed of, the level I aspire to reach. Uehara Soma was completely focused, immersed in it. One hammer blow followed another. The metal ingot on the forging table kept changing shape under Uehara Soma's hammer blows. Its structure became denser under this forging. Moreover, some characteristics of the magma were also infused into the metal ingot by Uehara Soma's forging. This is the characteristic of Forging Island's forging technique. By using magma, the crafted ninja tools have higher toughness and hardness. No mistakes in a single hammer strike. It's not a level I can even aspire to. Gradually, the temperature of the metal ingot began to drop. Uehara Soma picked up his tools and placed the metal ingot back onto the magma. Once the temperature was sufficient, he began forging again. This process repeated itself. It wasn't until after 10 rounds that Uehara Soma finished. However, this wasn't Uehara Soma's limit. It was the limit of the materials of the metal ingot. After 10 rounds, the forging process of the metal ingot was considered complete, known as the tenfold steel according to Forging Island's terminology. Among the tenfold steel, this is the finest. Arafune looked at the metal ingot completed by Uehara Soma's hands, radiating brilliance. Chapter 58, Is this guy going to betray the village? Tenfold forging can be called tenfold steel. But it's not just a simple repetition 10 times. After each forging, the properties of the metal ingot need to be improved, otherwise, it's just meaningless repetition. Arafune remembers that throughout the history of Forging Island, the number of craftsmen capable of forging tenfold steel can be counted on one's fingers. Next, it's shaping. Still heating, still forging. But the process has changed. This time, Uehara Soma no longer uses magma, only pure charcoal. The forging technique is also different from before. Under Uehara Soma's hammer blows, the metal ingot begins to change shape. From a round ingot, it transforms into the shape of a knife. Unlike a ninjato, a scalpel doesn't need to be large, it's better to be small, delicate, sharp, and agile. Compared to before, the shaping process takes a little more time. Juzo-senpai, I need your help. Biwa Juzo walks in. What do you need me to do? Use the blue rose sword to create frost. Got it. Biwa Juzo places his hand on the hilt of the sword and draws it out. A surge of chakra flows in. Bloom, blue rose. Immediately, a wave of icy coldness emanates from the blue rose sword. Uehara Soma thrusts the red blade blank into the icy aura. Hiss. Instantly, the power of frost from the blue rose sword enters the blade blank. The power of frost intertwines with the magma power within the blade itself. A strange transformation erupts within the blade. Arafuni can feel that at this moment, the blade in Uehara Soma's hand seems to undergo a qualitative change. Directly quenching with the ice. Arafuni looks at the blue rose sword in Biwa Juzo's hand. If one doesn't have enough confidence in the blade they forged, they wouldn't dare to use this quenching method. No wonder your chief Uehara. 1 by 1, 2 by 2, 3 by 3. Until all that 9 blades are quenched, Uehara Soma proceeds to the polishing step. Polishing the blade body, creating the edge. Done. 9 scalpels arranged in sequence. Uehara Soma turns to Arafuni. Arafuni, any gains? A great deal. Arafuni nods. Chief Uehara, thank you very much. Normally, the forging technique is not taught widely, it's only exchanged between sensei and disciples, especially considering the tradition of self-reliance on Forging Island. But for Uehara Soma, there's no need to worry about teaching his disciples and then being surpassed by them. Because the blacksmith system is something others cannot possess. To create powerful ninja tools, forging technique is undoubtedly crucial. But materials are also indispensable. No one can cook without rice. Uehara Soma smiled. I've seen your performance during this period. Congratulations, you've successfully completed the internship. From now on, you'll be the official assistant blacksmith of Forging Island. You can receive the benefits of an assistant blacksmith. This reward isn't provided by Uehara Soma but by the village. It's different from the past assistant blacksmiths on Forging Island. This assistant blacksmith position isn't just a title, it's an official position. Just like Hanbu ninjas. Thank you, Chief Uehara. I will definitely work even harder. Arafuni pursues forging technique diligently, but he also understands how much benefit an official position will bring him. At least, his future life will be secure. Uehara Soma hopes that Arafuni's forging technique can improve even more. In the future, when recruiting assistant blacksmiths, they'll try to enhance their forging technique as much as possible. That's the only way to create something valuable. Instead of the whole Forging Island relying on Uehara Soma's ninjato for sustenance. Otherwise, Forging Island wouldn't need any assistance. Uehara Soma hopes that the entire Forging Island can become valuable in the future. Because that would benefit Uehara Soma's reputation. The difficulty of gaining reputation as a single blacksmith compared to leading many assistant blacksmiths is different. Keep it up. Immediately, Uehara Soma looked at Biwa Juzo again. Juzo-senpai, could you please deliver this set of scalpels to Mayuko-senpai? Sure. Uehara Soma packed the scalpels into a prepared wooden box. Biwa Juzo picked it up. Later, after stopping by O's hospital room to ensure everything is fine, Biwa Juzo left Forging Island and went towards the direction of the medical department. Biwa Juzo isn't as worried about Forging Island's safety anymore. On one hand, Forging Island now has O. The Byakugan's presence not only enhances combat capability but also boosts surveillance, and Biwa Juzo is aware of the covert Hanbu ninja squad. On the other hand, Uehara Soma's strength has improved significantly. His basic attributes are still lacking. However, Uehara Soma has mastered several water release techniques, especially high-level ones. In prolonged battles, Uehara Soma is only at Chunin level. But in moments of burst, he far exceeds Chunin level. A single water release water formation pillar attack would be too much for an ordinary Chunin to withstand. Currently, Uehara Soma resembles Kakashi in terms of ninjutsu. His ninjutsu is powerful, but his chakra is limited. Uehara Soma looks again at the semi-transparent screen in front of him. My reputation has increased by a few points, not much, but it's there. When Juzo-senpai delivers that set of scalpels to Mayuko-senpai, it should also bring me some reputation. Biwa Juzo arrived at the medical department. But Mayuko Ringo wasn't there at that time. Biwa Juzo learned Mayuko Ringo's whereabouts from a medical ninja and quickly rushed over. He didn't want to make two trips for one thing. A separate small courtyard. Biwa Juzo approached, preparing to knock on the door. However, at that moment, Biwa Juzo suddenly smelled blood. Biwa Juzo frowned instinctively. Sounds of a struggle came from inside. Without hesitation, Biwa Juzo climbed over the wall. Soon, following the sounds, he arrived in the backyard. Two figures entered Biwa Juzo's sight. One was Mayuko Ringo. The other was a member of the Kaguya clan. At that moment, the Kaguya clan ninja was restraining Mayuko Ringo. Mayuko Ringo is already seriously injured and in critical condition. Mayuko Ringo has exceptional medical ninjutsu skills, but her combat strength is lacking. Not all medical ninjas are like Tsunade. Even if they were Tsunade, their combat strength might be slightly insufficient when facing ninjas of the same level. Ding! Biwa Juzo's figure flashed, standing in front of Mayuko Ringo. Mayuko-senpai, what's going on? This madman from the Kaguya clan is asking me about Ao and the Byakugan's whereabouts. Biwa Juzo's expression immediately became extremely grim. Does this guy want to betray the village? Chapter 59, The Power of Blue Rose. Biwa Juzo despises those who want to betray the village deeply. Especially when it's for the benefit of Konoha. Biwa Juzo will never forget the failure of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. Biwa Juzo looked coldly at Kaguya across from him. Bloom, Blue Rose. A surge of powerful chakra poured into the Blue Rose sword. The ground turned to ice. Ice pillars appeared around them. Rose vines appeared one after another, entwining towards Kaguya. Kaguya quickly dodged, a hint of dread on his face. Biwa Juzo. So, this is the second ninjato forged by the blacksmith of Forging Island that's been talked about? It's indeed impressive. No wonder the Mizukage would rather give us thunder swords rather than this ninjato. But at the same time, greed flickered in Kaguya-tai's eyes. But with such a ninjato, Biwa Juzo, what qualifications do you have to use it? Just a defeated dog in the hands of a Konoha Genin. The face of the hidden mist village, you've disgraced it all. You can't handle this ninjato, let me use it instead. Biwa Juzo's appearance instantly reversed the situation on the scene. Kaguya-tai's strength is not on par with Biwa Juzo's. Moreover, Biwa Juzo still possesses the Blue Rose sword. However, faced with this situation, Kaguya-tai didn't fear or calmly consider what would be the best choice for himself. Instead, he became even more reckless. That's the Kaguya clan for you. Water release, exploding water colliding wave jutsu. Biwa Juzo gritted his teeth. Unlike Kaguya-tai, even if Biwa Juzo was enraged, he still maintained a certain level of calmness. Biwa Juzo wanted to capture Kaguya-tai and bring him before the third Mizukage. However, capturing Kaguya-tai amidst his madness is difficult for Biwa Juzo. These Kaguya clan members are like mad dogs. In that case, I have no choice but to go all out. Otherwise, Mayuko-senpai will definitely be in danger. A large amount of water surged out, engulfing the surroundings and spreading across the nearby area. Kaguya-tai didn't care, concentrating chakra on his feet and rushing fiercely toward where Biwa Juzo was. Biwa Juzo, meet your end. Biwa Juzo frowned as he watched Kaguya-tai charging towards him. You brought this upon yourself. Blue Rose Ice Release, 10 long spears. The next moment, 10 giant ice spears appeared around Kaguya-tai. They moved faster than Kaguya-tai, aiming to strike him. Kageyatai's eyes flickered, intending to dodge. However, at that moment, Kageyatai suddenly found himself unable to move. Lowering his head, Kageyatai saw that the water beneath his feet had silently turned into ice. He could break free, but it would take time. And right now, time was what he lacked. Unable to dodge, facing Biwajuzo's ice spears, Kageyatai could only withstand them head-on. Bang! 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 1, 2, 3. PFFT. But Kageyatai couldn't block them all. An ice spear pierced through Kageyatai's back, emerging from his abdomen, blood flowing along the ice spear and dripping. Biwajuzo stepped forward, the tip of the blue rose sword aimed directly at Kageyatai's throat. Surrender now. Kageyatai looked up, glaring angrily at Biwajuzo. Suddenly. I won't lose to a coward relying on a ninjato like you. Kageyatai roared furiously, his eyes turning red. He forcefully pulled his body out from the ice spears and viciously charged towards Biwajuzo. Biwajuzo's pupils contracted. He hadn't expected Kageyatai to still be this crazy even in such a situation. PFFT. Instinctively, a sword thrust pierced Kageyatai's throat. A large amount of blood gushed from Kageyatai's throat. Kageyatai lost strength, his life force draining rapidly, unable to maintain balance. Thud. His entire body weakly crashed onto the ice. Biwajuzo's frown deepened. Mayuko-senpai, are you alright? I'm fine, Juzo. Thank you. If it weren't for you coming in time, I might have been killed by him. Biwajuzo hesitated for a moment. Mayuko-senpai, I must report this to Ms. Yukige-sama. It's not safe here. Why don't you come with me to the Ms. Yukige's building? I don't know if there are others left. Okay. The three of them swiftly headed towards the Ms. Yukige's building. Biwajuzo carried Kageyatai's body. A young girl followed behind Mayuko Ringo, her granddaughter. Ms. Yukige's building. What? Third Ms. Yukige looked at Kageyatai's body on the ground, his expression grim. These Kageya clan members actually attacked people from our village for the sake of the Hyuga clan, for the sake of Konoha? Outrageous. Utterly outrageous. Do they still have the village in their hearts? Do they still have me, the Ms. Yukige? Third Ms. Yukige was furious. Indeed, Kageyatai's actions were unforgivable in the eyes of third Ms. Yukige. No one with a sane mind could possibly do such things. But they were members of the Kageya clan, known for their madness. Earlier, Kageya Neko reported to third Ms. Yukige about the activities of the Kageya clan. And it was Biwajuzo and Mayuko Ringo who brought this matter to light. Otherwise, third Ms. Yukige wouldn't have believed it. Juzo, you go back to Forging Island. Mayuko, stay with the Mayuri in the Ms. Yukige's building for now. Biwajuzo left the Ms. Yukige's office. Yes, Ms. Yukige-sama. While leaving, Juzo remembered the matter of the scalpels. He turned back again. Mayuko-senpai, this is for you. What's this? Biwajuzo said, these are scalpels crafted by Soma. Soma mentioned that with the impact of shinobi tools from the land of iron, it's no longer meaningful for Forging Island to produce ordinary shinobi tools. Therefore, he wants to shift to other aspects. And scalpels are one aspect that the land of iron has not yet ventured into. These scalpels were personally crafted by Soma. He asked me to give them to Mayuko-senpai to see if they are good and where Soma could improve them. Mayuko Ringo took it and opened the box. The next moment, her eyes lit up with surprise. For a medical ninja, a good set of scalpels is invaluable, making surgeries much easier. And just by looking at this set of scalpels, Mayuko Ringo could sense its high quality. As soon as she held one, Mayuko Ringo could feel the smoothness of this set of scalpels, unparalleled to any she had used before. Is this the work of the great blacksmith? Mayuko Ringo really liked it. Juzo, please thank Soma for me. Forging Island. Uehara Soma looked at the semi-transparent screen in front of him. The numbers after the reputation column on the screen kept changing under his gaze. 812, 856, 901, 955, 1003. In a very short time, It changed 4 times in a row, directly reaching over 1,000. It finally reached 1,000. Uehara Soma smiled. Chapter 60, Third 10 consecutive draws, 2 blueprints. Lottery, start. The roulette spun quickly. Physique +1. Congratulations, host obtained Dragon Bone Blueprint X1. Spirit +1, congratulations, host obtained Nicario Blueprint X1. 2 blueprints. A smile appears on Uehara Soma's face. Compared to the thug recruitment token, blueprints are undoubtedly more valuable to Uehara Soma at the moment because they can enhance his strength. Uehara Soma already has 2 thugs. And there are 2 thug recruitment tokens remaining. With a thought, 1 blueprint fell into Uehara Soma's hands. Dragon Bone Blueprint. A wave of information floods Uehara Soma's mind. Cursed Tool, Dragon Bone. From the world of Jujutsu Kaisen. One of the cursed tools used by Zenin Maki and the masterpiece of Juzo Kimiya, a sword-shaped cursed tool. It can absorb impacts from collisions and use them in the next attack. Uehara Soma raised an eyebrow. Absorb collision impacts and release them in the next strike. This is simply an excellent weapon for close quarters combatants. The stronger the opponent's strength, the stronger the counter. It's like using the opponent's strength against them. It's practically the nemesis of taijutsu ninjas. If Juzo-senpai had this ninjato, he wouldn't have been so passive against Maijui. Of course, it also depends on the gap between them. If you can't even handle the impact of a collision, then there's no way. But indeed, this is a counter to taijutsu ninjas. With the same strength, or even slightly weaker, those wielding Dragon Bone will emerge victorious. But the contractor. Uehara Soma pondered. His previous experience with ninja tools taught Uehara Soma that the selection of a contractor for a ninja tool comes from 2 aspects. One is the compatibility between the 2, and the other is the approval of the mission assigner. That is, the approval of the user of the ninja tool itself. Akame approved of Hoshigaki Kisame, so Hoshigaki Kisame obtained an excellent level of compatibility with Kirichimanji. Yu-Gi-Oh approved of Biwa Juzo, so even though Biwa Juzo and the Blue Rose Sword didn't have much similarity in attributes, he obtained an excellent level of compatibility with the Blue Rose Sword. The approval of the user of the ninja tool itself seems to be more important than attributes. Therefore, when Uehara Soma saw the God's Hand, he felt that this ninja tool might fit well with Okimaru. And the Dragon Bone. Zenin Maki, from the Zenin family, a big family, but not valued. Has a younger sister. She cares a lot about this younger sister. Later, she clashed with the Zenin family, killing many of her own clan members. Uehara Soma's expression became strange. Because Uehara Soma felt a strange sense of familiarity. Many of these points are similar to Uchiha Itachi. But I can't give this ninjato to Uchiha Itachi. Okimaru, Uehara Soma could still consider. After all, Okimaru would eventually defect from Konoha. As for Uchiha Itachi, although he also defected from Konoha, he always held Konoha in his heart. His defection was entirely for the sake of Konoha, killing his own clan members. With a thought, the Dragon Bone blueprint disappeared, and another blueprint appeared. A wave of information flooded Uehara Soma's mind. Nicario. From the world of Toji no Maiko. Tsubakura's sword. A short sword. It possesses a special Aradama ability. Uehara Soma looked at the blueprint in his hand. The main characteristic of Tsubakura is proficiency in Kenjutsu, genius, and an early death. In fact, there are quite a few individuals who fit this description in the Hidden Mist Village. The genius of the Hozuki clan, Hozuki Mainjutsu. Mayuko-senpai's clan member, Amei Yuri Ringo. The young boy from Konoha who can control the weather, Yota. And, on the Nicario blueprint, there isn't even a blank hexagram, which means that only I can go to Nicario's materials copy, and I can't summon any thugs. Correspondingly, the difficulty of this materials copy will also be smaller. However, after training all day today and making many ninja tools, I'm not in good shape. Rest well, recover my condition, and then proceed tomorrow. Uehara Soma returned to his room. Juzo-senpai hasn't come back for so long, could something have happened? Just then, there was a knock on the door. Soma, it's me. Juzo-senpai. Uehara Soma opened the door. Biwa Juzo's expression was somewhat grim. Soma, thank you for asking me to go deliver the scalpels to Mayuko-senpai today, otherwise by now Mayuko-senpai would have been killed by Kaguya-tai. Kaguya-tai? What happened? Biwa Juzo said, Kaguya-tai made a move against Mayuko-senpai in order to help the Hyuga clan of Konoha retrieve the Byakugan. I intended to capture him alive, but that guy is a lunatic, so I had to kill him. Afterward, carrying his body, I went to the Mizukage's building with Mayuko-senpai, which delayed us a bit, and now we're back on Forging Island. Mayuko-senpai is very satisfied with that set of scalpels. Uehara Soma's expression turned to astonishment. Kaguya-tai wants to kill Mayuko-senpai for the Hyuga clan of Konoha? This exceeded Uehara Soma's understanding. Initially, Uehara Soma sympathized with the Kaguya clan because of their near-genocide in the original plotline. But Kaguya Hikari's appearance drastically changed Uehara Soma's impression of this ninja clan. Uehara Soma learned a lot about the Kaguya clan from Juzo. If it's not entirely true that the Uchiha are inherently evil, then perhaps the innate evilness of the Kaguya clan might indeed be real. Even in a ninja village like the Hidden Mist, known for its hostility, the Kaguya clan's actions made them almost universally condemned, indicating the severity of their deeds. However, Kaguya-tai's actions still shocked Uehara Soma. This seemed a bit too extreme. Is he crazy? Biwa Juzo paused for a moment. In the coming days, Hidden Mist Village may face major changes. Soma, you need to be more careful, absolutely do not go out alone. I'll stay on Forging Island from now on. Let Arafune handle things like delivering items. It may be slower, but your safety comes first, Soma. Uehara Soma nodded. Okay. As Kaguya Neko's figure had just left the Mizukage's building, an Anbu ninja walked in. Listening to the Anbu ninja's report, the third Mizukage's expression relaxed slightly. It's indeed not the actions of the entire Kaguya clan, but just an impulse from Kaguya-tai alone. However, who can guarantee that there's only one Kaguya-tai?
Thanks for listening.